On this cool night in Fayetteville, Tennessee, we're live in a match that means so much for the playoffs, but more importantly means so much for both of these teams as they try to get closer to a 500 and potentially a positive record going into the rest of the season, but more importantly, a playoff slot on the line for Riverside Christian in this week's Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week. It's the Eagles and the Knights colliding here in Knight Stadium in Fayetteville, Tennessee. Welcome everybody inside the broadcast booth. I'm Spencer Thompson. Glad to have you with us. What history are we going to see witnessed here tonight as Ezell-Harding, they have a situation, for Ezell-Harding, it's not so easy, but if they get a W here tonight, they do clinch a playoff spot. However, if they win their game against Lancaster later in the season, with Franklin Christian losing tonight to Lancaster and winning against Franklin Classical next week, it would be a three-way coin toss for the South. But for Ezell-Harding, a lot of losses they've taken from the last several years. A lot of their seniors, including Derek Griffin, being lost. A lot of different guys being lost on their side of the ball. But for Riverside Christian, of course, it's easy for them. A win and they are in. And especially if they win, then Lancaster and Franklin Christian better be thanking them, because that clinches playoff berths for them later on. But for Riverside Christian, Raymond Hunt, Crutcher Ezell, so many stars on both sides of the ball. The big question for this team is, are they the dark horse in the playoffs that they were last season? And bring in Jack Hellwig. Welcome, Jack Hellwig, for your second game doing color commentary, and it's a good one we have ahead. Let's talk first about Ezell-Harding. Everyone knows, of course, they're right now sitting at 2-3, and for Ezell-Harding, the losses that they've taken is what's really put them in the situation. But the benefit for them, the coaching gives them the chance to stay in this football game.
Absolutely. I mean, we were just watching pregame. I mean, like, these guys are really fired up, and, you know, like we were talking about our show on Sunday, I mean, the matchups are there. I mean, this is clearly a very good team. They were in state championships last year. I mean, but the coaching and getting that experience is all going to take this team and push them forward to hopefully give us a really interesting game here tonight.
And Crutcher Ezell, we've seen him in primetime already once, but seeing him put up continual stats and get twice the Extreme Player of the Week. What impact is Crutcher Ezell, combined with Raymond Hunt, going to have on this game tonight as the Knights try to clinch a playoff berth for the second time in their Division I history?
And I don't mean to downplay anybody else on the team, but that is the focal point of that team. I mean, that's the charisma. They're the captains. They are the guys to look out for. I mean, like I said, if they were X Factors, they would be the guys who put it on. So all you need to do is get those guys going early and get that thing hot, and then Riverside could look very scary, and if they can carry that momentum going on, who knows where this game could go.
A win for either team, and they are in for the postseason, and a loss will put them outside of the Division I bracket. The Eagles collide with the Knights for the third playoff slot next.
direct your attention to the south end zone.
Homecoming night for Riverside Christian here, and what a game to have on, and what a crucial game to have in a chance to clinch a playoff berth, chance to get to the Division I playoffs for only the second time in school history. Spencer Thompson and Jack Helwig bringing you the action here from Fayetteville, Tennessee, in definitely one of the contests that everyone looking in, they're looking, of course, see who's going to get that final slot in the playoffs, because at least as of now, nobody has clinched a playoff spot. But if we do have Riverside win, then immediately Lancaster and Franklin Christian get in because they both beat Ezell-Harding by tiebreakers. If Ezell-Harding wins, then it depends on how Franklin Christian does against Franklin Classical next week, because each of the teams could go 3-1 on the remainder of the year. And
gentlemen, your officials for this evening, referee
at least by the tiebreakers, tonight's game very much determines who gets that final slot in the playoffs.
The line judge, Cedarian Mosley, the back judge, Cedarius Mosley, and the ECO, Rob Pledger. Your captains this evening, number 8 for the Eagles, and number 15.
And Jack, you've played football before, and you've been in some situations of trying to clinch a playoff spot. You know the significance of the game. It has to have an effect on the players here tonight.
It absolutely does. I mean, the thing with the so the question with the playoffs and everything like that, I mean, it absolutely does have a toll. I mean, it's nerves. It's all nerves whenever you first get into the games, you know, because the thing is, it's win or go home whenever you have a playoff berth at stake, and you never want your season to end, because with a sport like this, you know, you don't want it to get taken away from you just like that. So, you know, I expect we're going to see a lot of early mistakes from both of these teams, but coming in the fourth quarter, we're going to see some solid football from both of them. Both well-coached teams, a lot of athletes.
Riverside will defend the north end zone.
And it's like Ezell-Harding has won the toss. They will receive on looks like Ezell-Harding won the toss, and they've elected to receive for second half. Is either that or Riverside choosing to defer, one of the two. But at least on homecoming night, it means Riverside will start out with it in the second half, and Ezell-Harding has a chance to show up big in their first time being on the Extreme Game of the Week in 2020. 2019 featured them about 3 times prior to the postseason. Their opening game against Riverside, as well as we did the Battle of the Bell, where they collided with Lighthouse Christian School, and their final game of the regular season to determine who was #1 seed in the South against Lancaster Christian. And that game happening at the final week of the regular season, but more than likely will not have, depending on how things play out tonight, as well as next week's game in the Battle of Franklin, it may or may not be a determiner for some playoff scenarios. But at least for now, tonight's game will help determine who is that third slot in the postseason. So Ezell-Harding will receive for the first half.
If anybody from Ezell-Harding has a roster they would like to keep up with up here for us and 8-Minute Street, if you would bring it up.
Name drop us like that.
Nobody knew y'all were here.
Everyone thought we were going to be at RCA. So again, Riverside looks like they won the toss and elected to defer. So Ezell-Harding on Riverside's homecoming night will receive the ball for the first half, as about to get set underway, and as we understand it at this point, because of Lancaster Christian and Franklin Christian already playing the previous teams because of tiebreakers, this is for the final seed in the playoffs. And the defending state champions in Ezell-Harding trying to get a shot to fully defend that title. Riverside Christian trying to be the dark horse and get sort of vengeance on them because it was an elimination game in the semis last year.
And let me just say, I'm just excited, first of all, just to cover Ezell-Harding by itself because like I said, this is the first 2020 game that we've seen of Ezell-Harding. And also I'm excited to see Riverside again because the last time we saw Riverside, first time that we saw Riverside, I mean, we saw Crutcher Ezell just completely tear up Coach Austin and all them down in Franklin. And, I mean, it set a tone for me personally, and which is why I picked them to win this game. But from what you told me pregame, I'm very excited. I think it's going to be a very close game we have here today.
Will the Knights or the Eagles be headed to the playoffs to collide? The win tonight will send them in a few weeks' time to either Christian Community or Lighthouse Christian in the first round of the playoffs. Clock expires as it's about to get to 12 minutes on the game clock.
If the ECO clock operator would please hit stop one more time, we can reset the clock.
Trying to get the clock scenario figured out here in stadium.
Controller may be off.
Slow start here for Riverside and crew.
A little bit slow here as they might swap the clock control to the field. So we saw that happen a few weeks ago with the Tennessee Heat game.
A game that I don't think I was at.
No, it was Tennessee Heat Sacred Heart. And they got it. 12 minutes on the clock, and with the kick of the football, we are underway for tonight's contest. And we will have a return from Ezell-Harding. It's a rush on the right side, trying to weave through this Riverside kickoff team, and at least at the moment is KJ Stockard. Stockard with the return, at least from the roster we have right now, but just shaves 3 seconds off the game clock, and we will see for the first time in prime time Ezell-Harding not led by Derek Griffin at the helm. And as far as we're aware, Jamari Liddell is back in the contest, back into play for Ezell-Harding, and we'll see what that offense can do starting out on their own 42-yard line.
That's good field position right there just to start off a drive. I mean, just having to go 60 yards, not too bad of field distance to go ahead and get a first score of the game.
It's now on the first play of the game on offense. And a weave through the middle. Ezell-Harding with a big gain being chased down. At least it looks like Liddell who got the carry on there and stopped by Raymond Hunt, but Ezell-Harding with a big offensive play to start out this game.
I mean, watch this. He just takes that cut down the middle, and it is a foot race going all the way down. And then what a great tackle as he's going to the end zone, and then tries to rip the ball there, doesn't get it. But what a nice run and splits the gap there for Ezell-Harding.
Ezell-Harding offense has always been a ground-heavy team, and they continue that with being with a 1st and 10. Weave up the middle, and first score of the game is for Ezell-Harding. Touchdown.
I mean, it can't get much simpler than that. That is a great first drive for Ezell-Harding to come out and set the tone. You want to talk about some good blocking. Everything was there for them on that first drive. It's like good snap, great blocking. Unfortunately, they did not collapse on him as hard as they should have. But, like I said, first early half playoffs, things are a little bit shaky, so wouldn't be too concerned.
On homecoming night for Riverside, they allow the first score of the game to be for Ezell-Harding. Only 2 plays in. 2-point conversion attempt at the run up the middle, and is good. Already 8-0.
2-point conversion is good.
And 30 seconds taken off of the clock with that drive.
And what's interesting to me is, like, it seems like Riverside has a lot of faith in other guys making plays, and it seems like they were slowed up a lot trying to make some tackles and everything. Kind of like, oh, I thought you had that kind of stops, you know? And you can't make that in games like this. And I get this, the playoff berth nerves and everything like that, but against a team like Ezell-Harding that won state championship last year, you can't afford to make a ton of mistakes or they're going to really capitalize on those things.
The defending state champions looking for a shot to continually defend their state championship. Fortunately, at this point, depending on the results from tonight, they could host a playoff game as of now, but depends on how things play out. And an onside kick attempt from Riverside. It's picked up immediately by Michael Whidden, staying on his feet, trying to push through that kickoff team's line, and we'll start in Ezell-Harding's territory at the 45-yard line.
Hey, I'm just going to say this. He stood up a lot longer than I thought he was going to. I mean, they just could not seem to get him down right there at that play.
And we'll see the Crutcher-Ezell-led offense now for a third time in our broadcast this year, and every time he's just been spectacular in his performances, and that's a major reason why why he's got an Extreme Player of the Week twice. And we'll see how this offense leads. It's a toss to the left side. It's Raymond Hunt to the outside. And Raymond Hunt brought down with the flag down at the 20-yard line. And we'll get our first flag of the game.
As he brought him down right there, it kind of looked like a horse collar, but we're going to get it from the ref right here and see.
Wait to see if we can get the call. Larry Tidwell is the referee for tonight. Been the Whitecap for several high-stakes games throughout the years, and we'll get his word in a few moments. Having a discussion about it just to make sure that they've got the right call, and might be the time to wonder if a rules analyst is something we should look into.
Well, if we have the replay, unfortunately, we do not.
We do.
Oh, we do? Nice. Well, actually, looks like
We'll get the call from Tidwell. It's a face mask on the defense.
Call as a personal foul, face mask against Ezell-Harding. At the distance of the goal, put it on the 10-yard line.
And that right there is a killer penalty for Ezell-Harding, because now that after a big game like that, now they're pinned even further into their own end zone.
And rush attempt up the middle. Is this going to be a high-scoring game? Here's the man. Crutcher-Ezell gets stopped at about the 3-yard line for a second and goal. And let's go back a little bit to that play of how Riverside got such a large gain.
Second down, goal.
I mean, just like that, it was a nice little check down pass, but what really did it right there was the catch right after it. And then, unfortunately, the penalty.
Scramble by Rubelski. Rubelski with the toss to the end zone. Touchdown! Raymond Hunt with the reception, and Riverside immediately responds.
Touchdown, Riverside.
Absolutely beautiful play by Riverside right there. And we can just get one replay on this. Has plenty of time in the world, and then just throws it up, and then gets the perfect route. Throws it up right for the receiver to make the play. And that is what you call a great counterback to an early score right there.
Chance to have it tied up here. Belski looks for the option and catch. Ezell makes it look easy. Tied up at 8 here in Fayetteville. Only about a minute and a half off the clock, and we've got a game on our hands. 10:27 left to go in the first as Riverside and Ezell-Harding colliding here in Fayetteville for the final slot in the playoffs for the South. Here's the ball is loose on a return, and Riverside, it looks like they're going to get the football. Waiting for the ruling from the officials, and we've got captured on there waiting for who gets it out of the pile, and it's Riverside. And that's one of the plays that Riverside has to get.
You want to talk about what a way to bounce back. It seemed like a nice return. It seemed like it was going to go for something as he cut up the middle, but what does it right here is the punch out, and then they just jump on the ball, and that is just attention to detail right there in practice.
Looked like Melvin Cousins, the freshman, was taking the carry on the ball there, and now Riverside has the ball turned over. And great field positioning again. See how this Riverside offense responds. There's Crutcher Ezell again. He's dangerous when he gets to the outside. Crutcher Ezell staying on his feet, tripped up at about the 25-yard line, and stopped out of bounds for another first down.
And he is fast, and he is dangerous, and that's one thing that Ezell-Harding is going to have to win this game. They're going to have to set that edge and force him to cut inside in order to make plays. And what another thing is going to be, with the 50-by-100 field that we're on today, it's going to be a lot more open space for Crutcher Ezell and this Riverside offense to make plays.
There's a handoff up the middle, cuts back out, and that Eagle defense is not going to let Raymond Hunt go anywhere.
And that right there is just getting into that backfield and then forcing a tackle, because last time they had Crutcher going to the outside, and they actually had someone behind him, but Crutcher's speed is what got to him.
And with about 9:40 left to go in the first, Riverside trying to go up by a score. Rebelski looking for options. He's got Ezell to block. Gets to the right side and tipped at the last second. Pass intended for Whidden. And that tip by Cousins, possibly a touchdown-saving stop.
I mean, he had plenty of room behind him right there to make a play and then go in the end zone, and the ball was there. It was just a great deflection by the defender. And you want to talk about how much time he had in the pocket right there? I mean, he probably could have took a nap, read a book. I mean, if I'm getting all that kind of time, I mean, there's going to be some plays being made. They need to start pressuring the quarterback more.
3rd and 11. Belski's got time. Right side, Crutcher Ezell with the catch and a first down inside the 20.
Rebelski's pass complete to number 8, Crutcher Ezell.
And as we're going to get a replay right here from that catch from Crutcher,
first down.
a nice little simple rollout pass that looked like an option, but he had some time to throw, and he had a lead blocker, and then throws the exact same pass, but leads the receiver into it, and then that receiver, Crutcher Ezell, is going to get that ball every time and come down with it for a nice first down game.
Again, 2-time Chick-fil-A Extreme Player of the Week, several-time Extreme All-Star, and especially for Crutcher Ezell in one of the final years of season, we have a flag.
Flag on the play.
See if we can get the call from Tidwell. It's issues on our end. I'm trying to figure it out.
False start against Riverside. The first down, 15.
Strange.
Looked like it was a penalty on Riverside for false start there and moved back for a few yards. Shovel pass to Ezell. Crutcher Ezell weaving through, staying inbounds at about the 7-yard line is where he stopped.
Ezell, the ball carrier.
And making now a second down inside the 10.
And simple plays like that, plays in space, and then making those little simple moves to get an extra 3-4 yards, because plays like that extend drives. I mean, I know we're in the goal line and there's no more down situation, so you have to score. But, you know, that 3 more yards can really make or break a touchdown play here.
On a 2nd and 5, pitch to Crutcher Ezell. He's got some space on the left side. Touchdown! Crutcher Ezell with another 6, and Riverside is on top.
And Crutcher Ezell is dangerous when he gets in space. But the main thing that really caused this touchdown here for Riverside was the blocking here on this left side. A nice little pitch, but watch this block. They do a good job of making sure it's not offensive holding. They try to make sure it's not a block in the back. Just a nice, simple keep up the defender, make sure Crutcher can get the outside and get that easy touchdown.
Neither of these teams have a field goal kicker, so game of 2-point conversions may be what it comes down to. Toss over, there goes Raymond Hunt to the outside. 2-point conversion is good. 16-8, 7:58 left to go in the first.
Perfect time for us to remind you that the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week is sponsored by Grace Point Healthcare. Modern medicine the old-fashioned way. Grow, Live, Give, helping you fit all the pieces together in your financial puzzle. Tennessee Heat Athletics. Visit TennesseeHeatSports.com. And by Jets Pizza of Springfield, Fort Campbell, Clarksville, and Goodlettsville. Let's get Jets. $16-8. Even a little bit of vibes from the national championship last year where it was high scoring in the first and second quarter as the ball bounces, picked up by Ezell-Harding as carry going to about the 35-yard line. Decent return there for Cousins, and about 7:47 on the game clock, and just outside the 40-yard line. Well, this Ezell-Harding offense is trying to make a response here.
And Ezell-Harding special teams has actually been pretty solid so far. Besides that one fumble from early, they've been getting a lot of yards on these returns so far to open up some drives.
Now a first down. Rush up the middle, and it looks like Jamari Liddell is going to take it unless he's stopped. Riverside man can't catch up to a touchdown for Ezell-Harding.
And he was looking like Lamar Jackson there in that Louisville red right there with that nice little quarterback keep right up the middle, and then it's a foot race. And then it looked like if he would have extended it and just tried to fall for that tackle, he might have gotten him there for a second, but the speed was just too much there for Riverside.
Got a high-scoring game already on our hands, and again, this is similar to the last year's national championship game between Ezell and Evangel. They were just exchanging touchdowns back and forth. So now 2-point conversion attempt to tie it up at 16. And fake there, and Liddell stopped in the backfield by who else than Crutcher Ezell. So now 16-14, so Riverside holds on to the lead. And question is now how the pressure is on the defenses of both these teams to make big stops, because already 14, 16 points exchanged with each. It's defensive stoppages is what is going to make or break this game.
It's all about just stepping up and, making these big-time plays. It's about who wants to come out, who wants to be the savior of this game, because right now all you need is one stop, and who's going to be that one guy? Because it can't just be Crutcher Ezell. It can't just be one guy to do all this. So some of these other players that we don't discuss as much are really going to have to start making some big plays. In a game like this, with the playoff berth on the line, it's a great time to do it, especially here on Extreme Radio.
Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week. Spencer Thompson and Jack Helwig bringing the action here from Knights Stadium in Fayetteville, Tennessee, in what already has been an incredible game. Is another onside kick attempt, and it's Ezell-Harding recovering it.
Deflected off of one of the Riverside players, and Ezell-Harding. Both teams exchanged turnovers on the kickoffs.
Ezell-Harding's onside kick.
And I actually wonder what happened right there. It looked like a good onside kick. He just ran forward, and another punch.
Popped out, yep.
And then they just immediately get it and then take it past the 50-yard line. Now special teams, 2-point conversion. We have a lot of things. And I wonder, honestly, what both coaches are going to go into halftime talking about, because there's some very interesting first quarter.
Nolan Hughes, the freshman, was one who didn't have the ball secured there and caused his team to have a turnover on a kickoff, and Ezell-Harding starts in the 45-yard line. It's now 1st and 10 as Jamari Liddell tripped up in the backfield by Crutcher Ezell.
You want to talk about a time to make a stop? Right here's the time to make a stop. You know, an unfortunate turnover on kickoff. You hate to see it, but this is the time. If you really want to stay in this game and then take the lead, you need to get a crucial stop right here against an Ezell-Harding offense that has been moving this ball at will.
Again, this Ezell-Harding team doing all they can to get a chance to defend their state title. Second and 15. Quarterback keep by Jamari Liddell, stopped by several defensemen of Riverside, and gets back to the original line again with a 3rd and 10 coming up.
And Riverside so far, they're doing a good job of, you know, getting inside of these gaps and flooding them before Ezell-Harding can get into open space. And a good 3rd and out right here. All you have to do is just make one more stop, one more big play, and then you get that ball back. Unless they decide to go for it on 4th down and test their waters.
3rd and 10. Liddell airs it out to the left side, wide open, a falling catch made there. KJ Stockard, the senior, getting the reception, and another big first down for Ezell-Harding.
First down, 21-yard line.
And then it was just a simple stop and go right there that ended up creating that space, and Riverside took the bait. And then with that speed, you can't take the bait on that. You have to play over top right there, because if you watch the bottom screen, it's kind of hard to see. But he really fell for that hesitation. And then in situations like that, whenever you're outmatched by speed, making mistakes like that, lucky he fell down, because it could have been a touchdown easily.
Now Ezell-Harding with another rush carry as Braxton Coleman up the middle for a gain of 5 yards.
And I kind of want to just go back to that one more time, because back when I did play defensive back, and that was one of the key things that I was told in practice was, if the guy is faster than you, you can't let him beat you over top. You cannot let something like this happen. Because, you know, who knows, that could be one of the biggest plays. Because if they go down right here, it's nothing guaranteed. You can't guarantee another score out of Riverside.
Will O'Neill, the sophomore, in coverage on that play as another flag down and another flag at the line of scrimmage. False start for moving it back for a second down and 10.
False start by the Eagles. Back them up 5 yards. Still second down, now 11.
Small little setback right there for Ezell-Harding.
Now second down and 11. Ezell-Harding tries to get inside the red zone, and quarterback keep Jamari Liddell has got space on the outside. Liddell to the house. Touchdown.
And the blocking right there was perfect for Ezell-Harding, as we're going to see right here on the replay. The blocking in the backfield, the blocking from the wide receiver. And then once he got into open space right there, once the defender falls, the wide receiver sets the block, and he just gets there. It doesn't matter if it's 90, 80, 20 yards. He gets that every single time.
Now Ezell-Harding takes their second lead of the game. Be an interesting stat line to see how many lead changes would be in tonight's contest alone. Way too many to count.
I was going to say, if one of our viewers would like to just get a pen and paper on while they're out their computer or phone, whatever they're doing, and do that for us, I'd be really interested to see it.
2-point conversion attempt, pitch in the backfield as it's good. 22-16. That is now a 6-point game with Riverside missing that 2-point conversion earlier. Getting stopped by the defense now. 4:18 left to go in the first.
So the keys right here for Riverside to come out on top is they need to get defensive stops because their offense so far has been pretty solid, and it looks like they're winning the matchups on offense. It all comes down, honestly, to both teams for just who's going to get the bigger stops on defense. Because right now both offenses are moving at will, and both offenses don't look like they've had any downside to them. I know it's very early, and honestly, the highlights that we can name off sounds like an entire football game, but it's only been about 8 minutes. Well, wait, 6. My math is off. Yes, I'm a college student.
It hasn't even, it's, of course, 12 minutes each quarter, and a trick play there as it's stopped at about the 48-yard line. So Riverside not fooled on that one. They'll start with good field advantage inside their own territory.
Honestly, I'm surprised that's
Riverside will take over first and
I wouldn't
10.
want to say that's legal. It was just weird. It was a really weird trick kind of play. Kind of threw me off. I wasn't ready for my camera. But, you know, a little trickery in a game like this never hurts, especially when you want to take an early lead. Because if you get that and get another score, you're possibly up 30-16 in the first quarter. Honestly, at this rate, how many points do you think is going to get put up total? Like,
we'll see how many at the end of the first quarter and then average that make that many points per quarter as first and 10 here. Aired out to the left side. What a catch! Incredible stuff from Riverside. And that reception, by Raymond Hunt, incredible stuff.
Good enough for a Riverside first down.
and there it is right here, as we're going to see. It's just a simple go route. There's nothing special about it. He just splits the seam in the defense, and then thank God they were there to make that tackle because they just threw it up right over the defenders to be just what a catch.
Couldn't have thrown it more perfectly either. There's Raymond Hunt carrying the ball. It's stopped by that Eagles defense for a gain of 7 yards.
Number 7, Hunt, the ball carrier.
I know we talked a lot about Crutcher Ezell, but Hunt has honestly made a lot more plays than Crutcher so far. I mean, he's been sleeper. He's been everywhere on offense, defense. I mean, he's also one of the guys that we've told everyone to look out for pregame and everything like that, and he's going to be one of the key players in order to win this game.
It's now on a 2nd and 5. Rebelski looking for an option. He's going to keep it. Rebelski to the outside is forced out of bounds for a loss.
Number 2, Rebelski, the ball carrier. Loss of 3 on the play. 3rd down, 7.
And now brings up a 3rd down and 7, still inside the red zone, but for Riverside, it's one of the, I believe the first 3rd down we've had this game, or one of the few 3rd downs we've had so far in the first quarter. And time for a timeout called by Riverside. So we've got 3:36 left to go in the first. Riverside knocking on the door of another touchdown. Ezell-Harding up 22-16. 3:36 left to go in the first as Riverside uses one of their 3 timeouts at half, and Riverside knocking on the door of the end zone as Rubelski is going to carry it. He's got some men to block. Rubelski get to the outside, a first down, and it'll be a 1st and goal for the Knights.
Number 2, Rubelski, the ball carrier.
And unfortunately does not get in the end zone right there. But as I've said over and over again, in order for Ezell,
We apologize, ladies and gentlemen. Our power just went out there temporarily. Somebody tripped over the extension cord, and I'll give you an audio play here. Rubelski across the middle, end zone. Touchback, it's intercepted.
and maybe we can get a replay to see.
If we could get the back end of that, but we apologize again. The power just suddenly cut out here in the broadcast booth. Yep, we got it. There's that, and
I think he just dropped. I think it was it 4th down there? Oh no, they have the ball. But wow, we are.
it was
bad.
third. It was 3rd down, and it was incomplete. One official signal a touchback. The other was signaling an incomplete across the middle, and a rush up the middle for 2nd and goal is stopped for forward progress.
Okay, so that's what confused us right there. I was like, what happened? But like I was saying before we cut off there, unfortunately, with Ezell-Harding, in order for them to really win this game and in order to make stops, they're going to have to stop. And then they're going to have to stop Riverside from going to the outside. They're going to have to really contain these runs and force them to go inside. Because once they create that space, Crusher Ezell, this Riverside team is faster than them when it comes to offense and stuff like that.
Rubelski looking for the option right side. Crutcher Ezell with the catch. Did he get to the goal line? Looks like they rule it incomplete there.
It looked like from my end that he had that there and the touchdown.
Rubelski's pass is ruled incomplete.
Let's see if we can get the angle.
4th down 2.
Step 1, 2. Oh, looks like at the last second he was pulling it down to his body. It popped out.
Okay. The things you cannot see at first sight until you have a replay, which is why I'm glad we have a replay system.
So now a 4th and goal situation with about 2 yards short. See if they carry it or toss it over as Rubelski looking for his option. Raymond Hunt, touchdown!
What a play right there to Hunt. And this was just a well-designed play by Riverside. Because as you see, it looked like they were baiting out that middle curl route right there, just trying to get a simple grab. And he even had the middle curl route. And then they just throw the out route. And unfortunately, they just threw it perfectly over the defender's head to get the easy walk-in touchdown.
And just like that, it's tied up, and a 2-point conversion attempt here gives Riverside the lead.
There are college football and NFL games that don't score this high the entire game. And we are 22-all.
Toss over, end zone, Raymond Hunt for the touchdown and the 2-point conversion.
The same play. They are just really disrespecting the underneath routes from Riverside.
Still in the first quarter, 2:30 left to go in the first as another kickoff return. So Cousins going to the right side. Gained the spotted about the 38-30. excuse me, the 36-yard line.
And still really a nice return again by Ezell-Harding. And the thing is, this is the first time that they haven't got the ball past the 40-yard line. So maybe things are still coming to change. We don't know. Maybe it's just a curse. Maybe they have to get past the 40 to win. We never know. But all joking aside, the special teams in this return unit, they are just bobbing and weaving, getting at least a good extra 8-9 yards on every single kickoff so far that we've seen.
Their average kickoff return usually goes in between the 40 and 35-yard line, as we've seen here. And chance for them to start their offensive drive in their own territory. Liddell is going to take it up the middle, scrambles through, staying on his feet. How about weaving through that Riverside defense? Almost there and there. Touchdown.
And
ball carrier, touchdown, Eagles.
I hate to say this, but this is just poor tackling. They had him in that backfield. They had him so many times. I'm going to watch this one more time, and I want you all to see, because there was at least 3 different people that could tackle him. 1, 2, and it's, again, like I said, the very first play, it seemed like a lot of people they're hesitating because they feel like the other person has the play. In a game like this, why aren't you the one that wants to make the play? Who cares if both of you tackle him? It's a team game. Because now they scored 28 points. Because we're not making tackles.
Ezell-Harding trying to get another 2-point conversion here and go up by 6. They'll need to make a stop on Riverside if they want to get back completely tied, as whistle blown, and it looks like there's a Riverside player injured. The 2-point conversion is stopped and a lead by 4. And looks like Riverside's Alex Thompson is down on the field, so we will step aside for an injury timeout. .2:12 left to go in the first, and the injured Knight Alex Thompson was carried off of the field, not putting any pressure at all onto his foot, and stopped there at the 45-yard line, and waiting for the officials to. Officials are having a conversation here, and Looks like it's going to be Riverside's ball. Almost think they may have lost track of who had touched it first, but
I don't think anybody at Riverside actually did touch it. I think because the ball went like 5 yards and then rolled like another like 2 or something like that. I think Riverside just backed up once they saw that. They're like, okay. But we can hope that our fallen Riverside brother, we will give you updates if he does return or anything like that. But it doesn't look like his injury or his return is pretty doubtful. So keep him in your thoughts and prayers. Hopefully he's okay.
2:12 left to go in the first. Belsky tossed to Crutcher Ezell, gets tripped up in the backfield for a loss of 2.
And they finally defend the underneath right there. They're shutting it down because what this Riverside offense has been doing best is yards after catch. And the interesting thing is once you shut that down, they really haven't had they actually haven't moved the ball on offense pretty much.
Toss across the middle, incomplete. Pass intended for Whitten.
An unfortunate drop. He had all the room in the world. He had the defender beat. There was no safeties deep. It was just him, the ball in the end zone. And unfortunate by Riverside, but we have about 1, maybe 2 more plays in case they want to go for it. The way their defense has been looking, the way their offense has been looking, I honestly would go for it right here. So try and pick up at least a good 5-6 yards right here and see if we can go from there.
3rd down and 13. Deep toss to the left. Just overthrew his intended target in Whitten. And now 4th down across midfield. Likely we'll see Riverside go for it, but I don't know. They could try to pin him deep.
Honestly, with the way you're tackling and how defense has been looking, I would go for it, to be honest. Especially because you're down. I understand it's first quarter. Things could happen. But your offense has been looking good. I mean, the last 2 plays were end zone shots. I mean, all you have to do is make the catch. So why not? Let's go for it.
And they're going to go for it here, at least from this formation, on a 4th down and 13. They trust Crutcher Ezell with it. Crutcher Ezell trying to get to the other side, being chased down. Is he going to get that 1st down marker? Staying on his feet, cuts another man. How about that?
Number 8, Ezell, the ball carrier.
And honestly, I really questioned that play call right there until I realized, oh, Crutcher Ezell has the ball. And then he just, again, once there is space and once they do not contain that outside run, I mean, it looked like they had him, but Crutcher Ezell was faster than everybody on that Ezell-Harding defense. And that's the only way they get that 1st down. But
it's a holding call, and they'll move it back. But so got to see the replay there, but unfortunately, it's just a turnover on downs.
So it doesn't matter. Everything I said completely.
Well, not a turnover on downs yet. But everything you said was good analysis of that play, but negated by a penalty. So now question is.
Looks like they're going for
it. Are
it?
they still going to go for it? They'll punt it away. They just wanted to fake everybody out there.
And a solid punt.
Good bounce. 13-yard line. Raymond was having too much fun on that. But trying to stay warm here in Fayetteville.
He should have lit it up like it was a campfire. Just get down and just wipe the hands nice and good.
49, about 49 degrees outside. There's actually a frost advisory in Fayetteville, Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm feeling it right now. It's one of my commentary skills are kind of shivery right now. I'm shivering me timbers over here.
We're only a minute and 4 left in the first quarter. Long night ahead of us.
It's okay. It's not like we have a big drive ahead of us going home or anything like that.
Like an hour and 15.
Not too bad. I was like, we've had worse. The trip to the Cowboys.
1st and 10. As Liddell gets brought down in the backfield by Whitten.
Number 8, the ball carrier.
And that's the play. Just make the tackle. That's all you
15,
got to do. Because then you stop him and look at all. He has no type of room. He has about 7 yards behind him right there. And you keep forcing him down. They're not going to go for it on 4th down. Not pinned in this way and not how the way things have been looking. So getting a stop right here and getting good field advantage for Riverside and taking the lead is huge for this team.
Now about a second down and 15, 25 and winding down in the first. Toss across the middle, incomplete. Good coverage there from Nolan Hughes.
And I love calling out good coverage when I see it, and that right there was good coverage. He gets beat right there on the slant, but he doesn't freak out about it. He keeps his composure, and what he does is doesn't hold them, doesn't do anything like that. He gets a hand where the wide receiver's hands are, breaks up the pass, doesn't try to make an early tackle, trusts his skills. That was a great defensive play by Riverside.
At least it stops the clock for a third down. May very well see this drive end with a punt having to switch the field as Ezell-Harding runs it up the middle, and likely they're just going to run down the clock here for 12 minutes past. 28-24, a high-scoring game thus far here in Fayetteville as the final slot in the postseason is on the line in the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week. Started the second quarter here in Fayetteville, Tennessee. 28-24, Ezell-Harding leads, but they're pinned deep in their own territory with the field side switched on a 4th down and 15. Spencer Thompson, Jack Helwig bringing you the action here from Knights Stadium. And
they're going for it.
They'll punt it away, and it's blocked, and Riverside gets it. Blocked punt results in Riverside picking it up there.
And I'm going to be honest, I do not like that call by Ezell-Harding. That was not the play to do. Try to fake them and then punt it off really quick. They got straight to the backfield, and no matter even if Riverside gets the ball, doesn't get the ball right there, they're at the 6-yard line. So if you're going to punt the ball, don't try to fake a punt. There's no one back there. Just punt the ball off. Because now, instead of getting them maybe at the 40-yard line, now they're at the 6.
And only 7 seconds shaved off of the clock for that as Riverside is going to have a rush and cut to the other side. Crutcher Ezell makes it look easy. Touchdown.
And that was a very good cutback right there by Crutcher Ezell because there was nowhere for him to run. They were containing the outside. But when there's one outside contained, you just go to the other, and that's exactly what he did. He just whoop and just and then he has the speed to get there. Wide receiver held up the block very well for him to make a play.
Riverside leading by 2, chance to go up by 4. As Rubelski tosses across wide open, Whidden. 32-28.
I wish I could get that left wide open back when I played.
I'll make that 32-28 as you could tell both of these teams know what's at stake, and they're pushing that mentality to try and get through tonight.
Absolutely. And I kind of want to go back to what caused that touchdown right there. Was one of the most underrated things in football that a lot of people overlook is blocking from wideouts, because a lot of big plays and a lot of big runs that come from college, NFL, high school level is from running backs getting tackled by DBs and secondary members, and whenever the wide receiver can hold a block and get that running back into open space, it creates a lot of big plays. And then Riverside has done an exceptional job of making sure that Country Ezell can get that open space.
As the Knights booted deep in another return here. As a stiff arm there. Right side, another rush by Cousins. Brought down Whidden, stopping him at about the 38-yard line. Assistance from his other brother, Timothy.
Number 10 on the return for the Eagles, brought down by Whidden.
That's a good tackle right there by Riverside.
Ezell-Harding.
And Ezell-Harding has called a timeout to regroup after that kickoff.
Yeah. So now I believe, and now both teams have 2 timeouts left in the half, and so far a high-scoring game here in Fayetteville. As we only have, if you have the Tennessee High School football app, you know what games are going on. We only have scoring updates tonight from contest between Lancaster Christian and Franklin Christian. As actually we do have some scores from around the rest of the league, and the teams we cover, at least three of them. So waiting on the rest of the updates from other places. We'll go over that on the Kentucky Kingdom and Hurricane Bay halftime report.
Before Jack gets some hot chocolate, because it is, like I said, frost weather here in Fayetteville, Tennessee.
A freeze warning as it's below 50. We're in an open-air press box, too. Remember doing a game like this between Riverside and Bowling Green at the end of the season in 2017 where the wind was, you think this is bad, imagine the wind blowing into the press box with these temperatures.
I'll pass. Just can't wait to go to Gatlinburg and do all that snow.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. Liddell for about 4 or 5 yards there for a second down. Jamari Liddell, one of the returning players for Ezell-Harding last year, and it's also a tribute to he's been under that system. He wasn't the starting quarterback last year because that was in Derek Griffin, who graduated as a senior. But Jamari Liddell has really stepped up as good as he can with the options he's been presented with.
Absolutely. I mean, when you throw into a situation like that, you have to do nothing but persevere, and he's done exactly that.
2nd and 6. Liddell again up the middle. He's got wide open space. Jamari Liddell to the left side. It's going to be forced out of bounds by Crutcher Ezell at about the 25-yard line. Didn't want to collide with him, but Jamari Liddell giving his team a great chance to get in scoring situation.
Now, if we do get nominations, because we always don't for some reason, but I really want to see whenever the stat line comes through how many rushing yards he has at the end of this game, because right now he has over 150. I mean, he has been the focal point of this offense running through.
So now Jamari Liddell with an incredible rush. Makes it now 1st and 10 on the 26-yard line. Ezell-Harding pressing along here. To carry up the left side. Carry looks like Braxton Coleman to the end zone. Touchdown.
Number 4, the ball
And
carrier
another
for the Eagles.
huge run, easy score for Ezell-Harding. They had all the blockers necessary there. Riverside just couldn't get to the backfield in time. You see, they just completely hit that left side, thinking the run was going to go outside, but it ends up creating a hole for Ezell-Harding, and then they have open space there to get the easy touchdown.
Again, we apologize. There we go.
Well, they can see it, but they do not know what I'm going through.
2-point conversion attempt here to take a lead by 4. Easy walk-in, untouched Jamari Liddell, and make that now 36-32 as the Eagles lead by 4 over Riverside. I want to remind you the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week is sponsored by Grace Moore Healthcare, modern medicine the old-fashioned way. Grow, Live, Give, helping you fit all of the pieces together in your financial puzzle. Tennessee Heat Athletics. Visit TennesseeHeatSports.com. And by Jets Pizza of Springfield, Fort Campbell, Clarksville, and Goodlettsville. Let's get Jets. .38 left to go in the second. 4-point lead as Raymond Hunt gets the start of the kickoff return as Raymond Hunt tries to get through and across midfield at the very least, and we'll see what this Riverside offense can do with the new set of downs.
And it looks like after Ezell-Harding's
46-yard line. We're to be first and 10.
looks like after Ezell-Harding's I would say failed onside kick attempts, besides the one that forced a turnover, obviously. Looks like they're going to start punting things deep and seeing how things going, but a nice return there for Riverside that gets them past the 50-yard line.
Now on a 1st and 10. It's Rubelski looking for options, gets it to his man. Catch easy for a gain of about 6 yards. That's to Crutcher Ezell again.
Gain of about 5.
And the reason I kind of say that you have to look out for other players in these situations because you don't want to overutilize your key guys in games like this whenever the ball is going back and forth because everyone's human. Guys get tired, you know, and with 8 guys on the field, every guy that you have should be accountable for the position that they're playing.
Rubelski tossed to the right, overthrew Raymond Hunt.
Play action tricked me there almost.
Rubelski's
I
pass
say almost,
intended
but
for Hunt.
fake the camera.
Incomplete.
You've been almost tricked out. You've been tricked out a few times tonight,
Listen.
and almost tricked out a few times.
Listen. There's been a lot of interesting things going on with this game that have been throwing me off. I blame the weather.
Fingers getting cold. That's a big thing as well. Trying to get the zoom and make sure you're moving the tripod properly.
Listen.
It's 3rd and 5. Belsky quick toss to Crutcher Ezell. Gets to the first down, extending it.
And
Rubelski's pass complete to Ezell.
I
First
am
and
just
10,
very,
Riverside.
I'm honestly really impressed with Crutcher Ezell. I mean, he's good, but his knowledge of the game is really well with sticking his arm out and getting that first down, making sure the ball crosses the first down marker to keep extending the drive because he had it there. But as he's going out of bounds, he's like, nope, and going to get that extra yards just in case he maybe gets tackled inches short.
1st and 10. Rubelski going to keep it, but looking for something. Under pressure. Rubelski's got time. Tosses it over to his receiver. How about that catch? Raymond Hunt makes something of nothing. Gets a gain of about 7-8 yards.
And what's weird is looking back at this, I actually thought this was a design quarterback run, and then things got shut down. And he was looking for a receiver, but none of the receivers were actually turning around until at the very last second when he got hit because he tried to look at that wideout on the right side. Oh, wait, is there a flag on the play?
Flag there, an eligible man downfield. So, yep, ineligible on the defense.
Well, that might have been, well, that kind of points out. So it definitely was a run play because they had an eligible receiver downfield. So, you know, trying to make something out of nothing. Did it. Unfortunately, it gets called back because that wasn't the design play. But nothing too crazy. Hopefully just got to make it back this play.
Make that now a 1st and 15. Belsky. Hunt with some space. Raymond Hunt trying to get back to the original line to gain. And it's a gain of about 11, 12 yards for it's now going to be a 3rd down.
And Hunt a little shaken up there on that play. Struggling to walk a little bit. or put pressure on that
Gain of
ankle.
about 10, second down 5.
And then once again, as I said, you don't want to overutilize your guys because he's already feeling it, and it's been about 14 minutes of this game. You still have a long time to play. You're going to have to start getting other guys hot.
2nd and 5. Rubelski, toss again to Raymond Hunt. Hunt to the outside is going to get to the first down marker, but the question is, Raymond Hunt ran into the fence a little bit there and
Rubelski's pass complete to number 7.
waiting
Hunt.
for a ruling on if it's a first down or not.
Gain of about
And
4. Third down and
call
1.
it short for a 3rd down and 1.
And I don't know, Hunt is a tough man right there. I mean, he was shaken up on the last play. Ball goes to him right there, gets it out, hits the fence. He's on the field still. I mean, that's a will right there because, shoot, if I'm hitting the fence like that, I'm going out for a
To stay strong for his team as direct carry. Crutcher Ezell is brought down from behind. The big boy Alex Valbuena makes the stop.
That is a huge stop right there for Ezell-Harding getting the tackle before Crutcher Ezell can get that first down right there, getting to the outside. He comes up behind him and just, again, thrown off. They got the first down.
Yeah, they got the first down, and he managed to stop him from getting to the outside, but Alex Valbuena with a big tackle there.
To be fair, on our end, the angles are kind of hard to tell looking whenever it's kind of diagonal, I guess you could say. But it was about a 1-yard gain. It was a good stop still.
Rubelski looking for the option. Player tripped up past the line of scrimmage across the middle, incomplete. Pass intended for Wyndham, but could have been intercepted by one of the Eagles.
That was a scary pass right there.
Incomplete.
I mean, that was thrown into double coverage and was almost intercepted. And I'm not sure why it wasn't intercepted. Maybe the ball got knocked out, dropped. But that was a miracle answer right there for Riverside. Because a turnover right here changes the tide.
2nd and 10. Riverside pushing down the field. Rubelski. Cross incomplete. Pass intended for Ezell.
And just a little bit overthrown right there for Ezell. Can't really make a play when the ball's about 3 yards in front of you. But good 3rd down coming up right here. Ball close into the, or kind of deep in opponent territory. You still have about 2 more plays. I wouldn't punt it here. So, like I said, try and get a couple yards here and then go for one big play on 4th down.
Or just get a big conversion on 3rd down as they've done so far. Deep shot towards the end zone, goes back to his man, and incomplete. Looks like Crutcher wanted a flag there, but nothing doing.
And I'm surprised he didn't get it right there because he, from what it looked like on my side, he pulled his arm down. And it was, I mean, it was a 50-50 jump ball. They were both standing on top of each other. So any kind of contact kind of should be very easy to point out. I'm not sure if Crutcher made any contact that might have negated it, but was no flag on the play.
So now 4th and 10, Riverside will go for it this close to the end zone. Don't have a field goal kicker as Rubelski tossed it across the middle, intended for Whitten, incomplete. And turnover on downs.
Rubelski's pass incomplete.
And that kind of stop is what the Eagles especially need when they're leading by 4.
Eagles.
Now can Riverside get another stop to counteract that stop that Ezell-Harding got? Because honestly, Ezell-Harding didn't make the stop until 4th down. Riverside just stopped themselves. Now the thing Riverside has to do is just make sure they don't get in open space. Make sure they get those tackles in the backfield because they've been in the backfield all day here. As great James Shannon says, Riverside is living rent-free in Ezell-Harding's backfield.
Second time out of the half for Ezell-Harding with 7:33 left to go in the second, as he will step aside while they think it over. First and 10 as Ezell-Harding got a much-needed stop on defense. Marching down the field on offense. Liddell airs it out to the right side, incomplete. Looks like it was in the area of his man Barker. And 7:26 left to go in the half. Ezell-Harding taking deep shots.
I'm shocked you didn't try to like lay out and attempt to make the catch, because it looked like it was in somewhat close range. I mean, it was underthrown, but it could. I mean, an attempt would have been somewhat nice. I mean, it never hurts.
May have been from his perspective on the field that if he had tried diving out, it wouldn't have gone anywhere. But
It's just from what I saw. But again, our dimensions with the diagonal frame on the camera. We thought he got stopped in the backfield and got the first down, so we never know.
a little bit of motion here on the play as the play clock winding down. The snap off, and Liddell is going to carry it through the middle. Jamari Liddell, when he gets free, he's unstoppable, and several Riverside players finally bring him down past the 45.
Rate the ball carrier. Brought down by.
And once again, Riverside gets there, but not all the way, as he gets into open space and then attempts to just make small little moves, and then ends up going for an additional 10 yards because Riverside just can't make the tackle. Unfortunate there, but there's still room for Riverside to get a key stop here in order to get the ball back and then take the lead.
So now on the 39-yard line in Knights territory, the Eagles leading by 4, trying to punch into the score and going into halftime. Again, Riverside receives the second half kickoff. Liddell with a handoff. And weaving up the middle, spinning out several tackles, takes almost the entire secondary to bring him down. I believe that's Coleman to get the tackle.
It is, but I do like where Riverside tries to go for it there. As he gets into open field and then Riverside defenders come up, they try to strip the ball from him from behind, try and get something a little cheeky going. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out, but the effort's there. The keys and the attention to detail are there. So Ezell-Harding has to keep that ball secure.
Another handoff. Coleman again. Braxton Coleman weaving through the defense and touchdown. Ezell-Harding with another 6.
Before the ball carrier for the Eagles, touchdown.
Oh, Riverside, what do you do now? And that was it's just a speed race there, because once he gets past the line, no one from Riverside was tackling him. He just completely out-blitzes everybody. Now, Riverside really needs to get the 2-point stop here, because a 10-point game, not so bad. 14-point game doesn't also hurt either, but 10-point game looks a lot, or 12-point. My goodness.
2-point conversion attempt. Jamari Liddell trying to push through. He stopped, and now it's a 10-point game. 42-32 with 6:24 left to go in the second quarter, and Ezell-Harding, they know very well what's at stake here, and Riverside trying to make something going, trying to get something going here.
You know, Ezell-Harding starting to step up on defense and starting to understand that this offense is running through Crutcher Ezell, and why am I drawing a blank? My God. I am not here all the way. But the offense is basically running through 2 people, and unless you get other people involved, everyone's just going to be on top of your 2 guys, and then if one of them go out, I don't know what Riverside's going to do on offense. And it kind of is worrisome, to be honest. There is still some hope, but everyone has to play their key roles in order to win this game.
.6:24. Same amount of time left in the second quarter here as squib kick. Picked up by Crutcher Ezell. Right side, he's got some open space. Crutcher Ezell turned on the Jets and takes it to the house. Touchdown, Riverside.
Number 8,
the spark that they needed is right there.
And it's just a foot race. That's all he does. He gets to the outside, and then the kicker slows up, doesn't make the tackle, but then no one can catch up to Crusher Ezell and his unmatched speed on this field, and gets a much-needed touchdown for Riverside to make it a 4-point game, potentially 2-point game. And then one more time as we're going to look at it, there was nobody there that could possibly catch up to him besides the kicker, and it's a complete foot race that Crusher Ezell will win over and over again.
10-point game, chance to make it a 2-point game here. And motion, likely a illegal motion or false start. Correction, actually, Ezell-Harding used their last time out of the half. And 6:13 left to go. The Eagles will think it over after letting the kickoff return occur. So 4-point difference right now, and we have ourselves a game. For being their last time out, I'm surprised they used it now on the 2-point conversion instead of getting the kickoff and then calling a timeout, regrouping on offense. But I'm not sure if I like that all the way, but I do not have a coaching job, and I have not won a state championship, unfortunately. I should have. But it's a very close game, a real nail-biter for both these teams. Very high scoring. I did not expect it to be this high scoring, especially in the first half. And it gives very much vibes of the national championship last year between Evangel and Ezell. One of the teams who participated in that. You keep hinting at it. What are you trying to say? Because last year it was 92-90 in overtime, and by the end of the first half, each team had about 40-50 points, a combined 100 points scored in the first half. So it's both these teams, they know what's at stake, and that's why they're giving it their all. As Rubelski goes for the 2-point conversion, toss across the middle and intercepted, and not quite. That's every player tries it. It's not gotten down to the high school level yet. It's only in the NFL. And it's back-to-back weeks. Wow, I'm frustrated at that because that's 2 points. And that helps them out so much because that makes it a 6-point game. Yeah. That's just frustrating. That might be something. Frustrating. Now, I'd have to look again and see what the National Federation of High School Sports rulebook says, but I know that every conference, it is up to them to interpret the rule book for how they wish to, but maybe that's something it's Ronnie Perkins' crew tonight. Maybe that's something Ronnie Perkins and the conference talk about in the future, because they could kind of be a landmark case of allowing their players on a 2-point conversion attempt to try and run it back and get 2 points. Man, I just know that we didn't go for a whole lot of 2-point conversions. But you guys had a field goal kicker. Yeah. Well, we not only we have a field goal kicker, we had a 5-star kicker who actually plays for Chattanooga right now. Have interesting tidbit for you after this kickoff is that is the first kickoff that bounces to the back of the end zone for a touchback. But while they're setting this up, interesting fact for you, since this is your first year with the broadcast company, Antonio Zita was a kicker for Riverside Christian in his junior year, and he was incredible, kicking field goals from 50, 60 yards out. Not in game time situations because they didn't put him in that, but in practice, kicking 60, 70 yards out. Field goals. If my boy's kicking 60 yards out, why are you not doing that? So they were a high-scoring offense. They didn't have as much chance to put him in those situations. Fair enough. He went down the street here in Fayetteville to Lincoln County High School, and he's the kicker for Tennessee State University. So pretty impressive. 1st and 10, a rush up the middle for another middle there, and I believe a carry there for. And catch the number on that, but 2nd and 10. Another name that hopefully we can go on for the 8-man level, just like guys like Leighton Vanderhesh. Yep, that's his name, Leighton Vanderhesh. And now it's 2nd down and 7. So if I'm Ezell-Harding right here, and my quarterback is just running all over, and Riverside has been struggling to get in that backfield and contain the quarterback, why wouldn't you just keep going with the offense that has scored you 42 points? I wouldn't switch anything up, and I would just keep going with what's working. 2nd down and 7 as Liddell is tripped up in the backfield. Stop made there by Will O'Neill. All right, it's time to switch it up. It's time to switch it up. I'm kidding. But as I was saying before, if a clock is not broken, you don't fix it. 3rd and 11. And we've seen times where Riverside's gotten that backfield and, stopped them for 2 yards. And then the next play, they run for a good 40, 45. So
it's going to be interesting to see how Ezell-Harding switches things up occasionally, or if they just plan on sticking with the same play calls.
Rush up the middle for Jamari Liddell, still avoiding tackles. It finally takes 3 Riverside players to bring him down, and that'll bring up a 4th down for the Eagles, who will have to likely punt it away.
But that's exactly what you needed right there, was just a nice stop, because Ezell-Harding, what they've been doing so well the entire game, has just been shut down from them on this drive, because they tried it almost every single time this drive, and now because of this, they're going to have to punt the ball away, and if Riverside gets a score, Riverside takes the lead for the first time in a long time. We thought this was going to be back-to-back lead changes. Riverside has not had the lead since first quarter, I believe.
It's been a minute at the least. Now 4th down and 11 for the Eagles, and we saw them do a fake bunt here in the backfield, and yep, they'll punt it away. Goes down, and a bounce there, goes to the 43-yard line, and the Riverside Knights will take over on downs.
And I'm still not sure if I like that 4th down trickery punt action that they're trying to do, just because what happened last time led to a score. And whenever you're punting, no matter what, those seconds that it takes you to get the ball off are so crucial when it comes to special teams. And you're not fooling anybody. All they're doing is they're just going to rush you on 4th down, because they're going to try to pin you deep.
Rubelski with the handoff to Hunt. Raymond Hunt up the middle for a gain of about 7 yards and right at midfield.
Number 7, Hunt, the ball carrier. Gain of about 7. 2nd down, 3.
And Riverside, they get the second half kickoff, so a score here is be very motivational for them going into that locker room, and then potentially a momentum swing.
So for Riverside, what they really need to do here is they can't score at will. They need to control this clock. They need to march down here slowly and leave no time for Ezell-Harding.
As another rush up the middle, another 1st down for Knights.
Crutcher Ezell, the ball carrier.
Crutcher Ezell with another great carry, about 2.5 left.
And just like that, a nice 1st down extends the drive, but also keeps that clock going, because Ezell-Harding has no timeout. So the thing is, you don't want to give them the chance to get the ball back, because if you take the lead at half and get the ball back and get a score, this game is favored heavily to Riverside coming out the gate.
First to 10. A little bit of mishandlement there, but Ezell still has it. Crutcher Ezell gets through for a 1st down on about the 34-yard line. And
looks like they're
ball carrier.
Couldn't see if there was a flag there or not. Yep, flag on the close side, and holding call against Riverside, so they'll bring it back.
Holding against Riverside.
And fortunately, I wish I could figure out who the holding call was
Repeat 1st down
on there.
1st and 14.
But that's not what you want, because clock's still going, but now you have this long distance to get. And a score here, like you said, is very important to set the tone, get the lead, and also you have the ball back. You have the ball back in the second half, so that's kind of a lifesaver. But you don't want to go down and rely on the second half score, because you always might not get it.
Riverside trying to run down the clock here. No sense of urgency as Crutcher Ezell has it in the backfield. Loss of 3 yards on the play. 2nd and 18.
So Riverside, what they need to do right here is they need to whittle this clock as much as possible, and they need to keep the ball running this next play. Because like I said, Ezell-Harding has no timeouts. So you need to play the clock very aggressively. And it looks like they're going to hurry up. Interesting call here by Riverside.
They do have 2 timeouts. 2nd and 18, toss over, almost a chance at an interception there. Pass intended for Whitten.
And here's the reason, and I'll explain right now why I told them to play the clock aggressively. Because now it's 3rd down and 16, and now there's a minute left. So now you have to keep the ball on the ground. You have to get a stop, or you have to keep that ball or clock going. Because if you don't, Ezell-Harding has a minute to drive down that field and get a bigger lead on you going into half. And it's not what you want, especially when you have the ball in the second half.
3rd down and 18. Rebelski alone in the backfield as he tosses it deep across the middle. Witten with the catch. Incredible. Touchdown, Riverside.
Rebelski's pass complete to number 15, Michael Witt. Touchdown, Riverside.
And what a well-run post route right there by Riverside. And they put that ball right on the money, completely going right through the gap, and then in a race to the end zone. Touchdown, Riverside, to get the lead right here with 57 seconds left in the second half. Now, the key thing here is Riverside has to get a stop, or they have to keep this ball on the ground whenever they get a stop to keep the clock running, because Ezell-Harding has no timeouts. So one big play, they can't allow things like that. They have to play very conservative. They have to play a lot of people back, because giving up a score right here is killer to what they just did.
Incomplete on the two-point conversion attempt. They lead by a two-point conversion. 44-42. Coming up on the Kentucky Kingdom and Hurricane Bay halftime report, we'll give our thoughts and analysis of the first half and what has been a high-scoring game, and we'll give you updates from around the TSIAA and the other teams that we cover. That's all coming up on the Kentucky Kingdom and Hurricane Bay halftime report.
So the key of keeping the ball on the ground is, or making sure the clock is still running for Riverside, is there's 57 seconds left. So you don't want them to get a huge touchdown, because you're not guaranteed driving and then countering that touchdown with that little much time. And the way that Ezell has been scoring is not driving the ball down the field steadily. It's big plays that are getting them. And that's why you need to drop people back, or why you need to keep this ball on the ground, because they have no timeouts. If the clock runs, the less time there is, the less chance there is for them to score before half.
Dylan LaFleur to kick off for Riverside. Sets it deep, and ball muffed there by Jamari Liddell as tries to get a return on the right side. A blocker goes down, flag in the backfield. And looks like we'll probably have a block in the back.
On the return,
something like that. But
flag on the play.
Yep, they're going to call block in the back, and getting word from his officials there where they're enforcing it, and blocking the back on the Ezell-Harding.
Huge for Riverside right there, because now they're going to have to drive. If they want to get a score of 45 seconds left, they're going to have to go 90 yards or so down this field in order to get a touchdown to go into half with the lead.
First and 10 from their own 9-yard line.
So with Riverside, unfortunately, because this is a 50 by 100 field and there's a lot more ground to cover, you have to be very wary about the open space that you're giving up. You can't just drop 3 guys back deep because you only have 8 people on the field.
Let's see if Ezell-Harding can march down the field. Jamari Liddell scrambles, brought down, manages to get outside of the end zone, and they're going to hurry it up to the line to try and keep it going. Luckily, no safety there.
Exactly what I keyed in there, keeping the ball on the ground, because now, look, there's 30 seconds left in this game because they made an open field tackle.
Here's Liddell again. He's under pressure, tosses it. Nice catch. Good reception and tackle down there. And again, time winding down.
Another open field tackle right there, and the clock just keeps running. There's only 12 seconds for Ezell-Harding to go all the way down the field. They might as well just hold the ball until half.
And Ezell-Harding is out of their timeouts as they lose the ball, and whistle blown there for the ball there, and 4 seconds left on the game clock. It looked like it may have been intentional grounding there, because usually with the spikes, it has to be when you're at the line of scrimmage under center.
And I'm also confused why they spiked the ball. I mean, you would think in this position, pin like this, because now it's 4th down. I mean, just an interesting decision. And, yeah, with the intentional grounding call, I always thought you had to be under center in order to spike the ball. It looks like they're going to run like Hail Mary trips, kind of interesting.
That'd be a question for Ronnie Perkins. Final play of the first half, more than likely catch across the middle, and Time expires. Halftime here in Fayetteville. A close game as both teams are trying to get that final playoff spot locked in the TSIAA South. Kentucky Kingdom and Hurricane Bay halftime report coming up in just a few seconds. We'll go right into it, everybody. Welcome into the Kentucky Kingdom and Hurricane Bay halftime report. I'm Spencer Thompson alongside Jack Hellwig. It's now 44-42. What a high-scoring game we have on our hands. How did we get to this point with Riverside leading by 2?
Just good defensive stops by Riverside, some great offensive plays, counting on guys, like I said, that aren't Crutcherizo, and then now you're at 44 points. I mean, there has been some defensive stops in this game. It seems like there hasn't, but this isn't anybody's game yet. I know Riverside gets the ball back in the second half, but Ezell-Harding, this is a team that has won state championship last year. This is a team that knows how to make adjustments.
And for Ezell-Harding, to only be down by 2 in this situation, it's pretty incredible. What is it Dustin McGee going to be telling his guys in the halftime locker room to try and get him back in this game?
He needs to focus more on the defensive aspect and more than the offensive bracket, because the thing with the offense is they've been scoring at will, and when they haven't, their defense has stepped up at times. But the key is they need to stop the key guys like Crutcherizo and things like that in order to get the game favored towards their side.
About 14 minutes to go until halftime. We'll get that clock up here, give you some updates as we go to halftime. So across the league, around the teams we cover from the scoring updates we have right now in Franklin, it is at halftime. The score right now is 14-0. The Falcons lead over the Lancaster Knights at home. The other game going on, at least that we cover, between the Freedom Cowboys and the Evangel Christian School Lightning, 26-16 is the score we have on that. We currently do not have any updates from any of the other scores. I believe Franklin Christian and Providence Christian should be playing tonight. We don't have any updates from that, and I believe that's the only other game that's going on around from the teams we cover. But about 13 minutes until halftime is done. You're watching the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week. welcome to the third quarter of this game that decides who gets the final playoff spot in the TSIA South Division. Spencer Thompson, Jack Helwig will be joining me in just a few moments. 44-42, Riverside leading over Ezell-Harding. And, of course, Riverside receiving the second half kickoff. So to have a 2-point lead going into this half is very crucial to have. And another trickery with an onside kick attempt, but not fooling the Riverside Christian Academy Knights, as they will start on their own 45-yard line. Well, as of now, it's 14-6 in Franklin. So if that score holds up in the fourth quarter, unless the Lancaster Christian Academy Knights come back, then the seeds are locked for TSIA playoffs. They're locked several weeks before the season. Depends on, of course, how this holds here tonight. And a handoff up the middle, and Raymond Hunt weaves through, gets to the end zone, and a touchdown for Raymond Hunt. Riverside and company come out strong.
Number 7, Raymond Hunt.
And as you see here on the replay, not as much of a zoom there, but Raymond Hunt with the pass and everything, and just incredible all the way for 6 points. Two-point conversion attempt coming up, a 50-42 lead right now, as welcome in my broadcast partner, Jack Kelwood, coming in clutch with the hot chocolate.
It took me a while to get there. Definitely spilled it all over myself in the process because the lid collapsed.
Yeah, it happens, but two-point conversion attempt is good for Raymond Hunt, and make that now a 10-point lead. That's what Ezell-Harding had earlier, 42-32. So that's what happened earlier, and now Tides have turned. Riverside's up by 10.
I am very shocked. I'm going to be astounded whenever I see the stats from these players whenever we get these nominations, if we do. But, you know, I'm pretty sure we will. But I'm very, this is a very high-scoring game from both teams. And that's also a really good way to start the second half, with that quick score, because 10-point game.
Spencer Thompson and Jack Helwig bring you the action here from Fayetteville. Special shout out to the operators of the concession stand out here in Fayetteville, because this hot chocolate really does hit the spot. It keeps you warm during a freeze warning in Fayetteville.
Took a while to get it, but
as the ball bounces down to about the 2-yard line and will be returned with a flag in the backfield. And we actually got the microphone fixed, so we'll hear the call from Larry Tidwell in just a few moments.
Eagles bring the ball back out to about the 9-yard line.
Hear it from him in just a few. And looks like you can hear a little bit of that, but personal foul waiting on Tidwell. Just glad it works.
Personal foul. Blindside block. The distance. First down.
we are getting there. Just a little bit reception issues, but at least we know it was a block in the back. We can hear him a little bit.
Larry Tidwell and company on site here, part of Ronnie Perkins' officiating crew. They do a fantastic job whenever.
Yeah, I expected to be back sooner because now I have this random hot dog. I can't really. I can't
explain how it got here, but somehow it just popped up in my pocket. And they move it half the distance to the goal, so it's brought back to about the 5-yard line, and a carry up the middle gets a gain of about 2 yards for second down and 8.
All the viewers watching at home are going to have to excuse my shaky hands a little bit. Definitely apologize for
all 28 of you.
Gain of about 4, second down and 6.
I say we appreciate you all watching, and we might have Zachary back next week. We do not know yet. Those are days at a time. We are updated by that. You know,
continue to send your thoughts and condolences towards Zachary Lone. He is planning on being back in the next few weeks for action, depending on depending on everything that the doctors are checking in on him and everything. But just keep him in your thoughts and condolences. Rush up the middle and
Huge stop by Riverside.
big stop on a 2nd and 5 is now a 3rd down and 5.
Because the thing is, they're complete. We know Ezell-Harding is a run-heavy team, but they're running a lot of CCS because, well, the thing about Ezell-Harding is whenever their run game goes down, they get the pass game. But their pass game's there. Like, they have had sparks of some in their passing game. And I don't think it'd be a bad thing if it got there, but it looks like Riverside is doing a good job of containing the run.
And it's the thing you especially have to do with a 10-point lead because Riverside trying to lock it up with this 10-point advantage. And now on a 3rd and 5, Liddell tossed it deep to the right side and incomplete.
And just like that, I mean, he had him beat deep right there, but couldn't make the reception right there. And that's what I was saying. This offensive pass game doesn't look terrible. And now with the 4th down and a potential punt, more than likely a punt, Riverside can get the ball. And if they get a score right here, they could be in a good position to put this game away early in the second half.
Now, put playoffs aside as they're about to punt it away here. You put playoffs aside, Ezell-Harding, their final game in the South is against Lancaster Christian, but next week they host not Christian Community. Next week they host Sacred Heart. At least that's what it is on the schedule. So they have a little bit of a break after this game, somewhat of a motivational factor. Depends on how this result comes out. But this is of course one of those games crucial to win to get into the postseason. But if they do get into the postseason, it's a break, and then if the score holds at FCA, they're going to be playing to host a playoff game at Ezell-Harding.
Well, Fayetteville, it has been a great stay so far. I've enjoyed my hot chocolate. I've enjoyed this game a lot. My hot dog is burned.
Why are you even mentioning that?
I have to mention. I have to give
that's the
everyone
only
the feel of the
problem.
game.
That's the only problem.
I've enjoyed it so far, but Ezell-Harding has a good stretch there at the end of the season for some sparks.
As Raymond Hunt gets tripped up for a loss of about 2 yards, and you look at Riverside as well. They on the rest of their schedule, they've got their only game that they're playing out of division is on the road against South Haven next week, and then their final game of the season is hosting Providence Christian here, which that contest can be pretty even as well with LeBron Ferguson and company. But
if Riverside finished as strong, like how if they do this game, then
deep toss by Rubelski to Whitten. The catch is made. Incredible fighting with this cornerback to try and push it even more, and still going. Finally brought down.
And I'm just going to point this out. What a strong grab right there. And he's pushing the defender, but you can see the defensive back right here makes a great tackle, but he tries to rip this ball because this is like a David Tyree helmet catch right here. This is the closest we're going to get to it right there because he held on to the ball with his helmet. And honestly, this isn't a bash, but they took a while to blow the whistle there. I mean, he was fighting for yards, so I'm not going to knock it.
Yeah, it wasn't a matter of forward progress or being in a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
Just they let it play out. Rubelski, handoff, left side, trying to carry a crutch. Ezell stopped in the backfield. And how about 8 on 8? Ezell against Jamari Liddell.
How many times are we going to see that tonight?
We've seen it a few times already. As Riverside is knocking on the door of going up to make it a 3-possession game. Well, technically 2 if you get the 2-point conversions, but with the way things have been going tonight, it could be, if they get a 2-point conversion, then that makes it a 3-score game.
Yeah, and, the 2 conversions aren't given. I mean, they've been stopped from both sides tonight.
And off Raymond Hunt with a little bit of open field. Can he get past his man? Jamari Liddell forces him out of bounds. A big stop there for Ezell-Harding. And now that brings up 3rd and goal.
And they prevent Hunt from going to that outside right there and then using his speed to get the edge and get the touchdown. It's a great open field tackle that negates him from getting that touchdown, because now on a crucial 3rd down right here is going to be the great tone setter for a 4th down if you get the stop. Because you're right here. If your defense can get a stop right here on the goal line, it's like you've taken a little bit of Riverside's soul.
Riverside in the driver's seat right now. And tossed by Rebelski towards the end zone, incomplete, Whidden, the intended receiver, and now you got a 4th and goal situation.
Pass intended for Whitney.
And if we get the replay on that, maybe if we can see if we can get the end right
4th and
there.
goal from the 5.
Yep, we got it.
Perfect. I see the play was there and just right through his hands. It was a difficult grab to make. Wasn't a bad play call whatsoever. It was a nice route run, just a little too high to make the catch.
And now in this circumstance, on a 4th and goal, this is a big stop, almost essential for Ezell-Harding. With motion, Rebelski looking for the play, scrambles, tossed to the end zone, intercepted. Ezell-Harding gets the interception. And now with a pick, it was going to be a turnover on downs, but it was incomplete anyway. But Riverside, they get stopped on a 4th and goal situation.
And they had to get the ball loose right there because as you're going to see on this right side, as they're trying to do their rollout, it was almost holding on that right side, and they had to get rid of it because even they see it. And then it was just a beautiful job reading the ball, jumping in front of the receiver, and getting an additional 8-9 yards to start your next offensive drive for Ezell-Harding. And that gets you right back into the game. Still a 2-score game, but in order to get back into the game, you have to get at least 1 score on.
Large campaign across the field for the Eagles to attempt. It's 1st and 10, starts on the 15, and they've got some open space on the right side. Trying to spin out a tackle, nothing doing. As again, we don't have a roster for Ezell-Harding. They didn't have their roster fully updated on Max Prep, so we've got 2 number 7s from what Max Prep says. It was either Barker or Billiot.
And that is why I'm not calling people by their names on Ezell-Harding's side. No disrespect, I just don't want to say the wrong.
Say the wrong name, yeah.
Yeah.
Other than of course the 70 Alex Valbuena down there, and you of course got Jamari Liddell as a quarterback there. And,
yeah, obviously.
At least the known names for Ezell-Harding, but any of the other ones we don't have the updated roster. As quarterback keep by Jamari Liddell, staying on his feet, avoiding the tackles, finally wrapped up by his feet, just past the 1st down marker. Jamari Liddell getting a 1st down.
And he does what he does best, running through contact and getting additional yards like he's been doing all game. But one thing I've noted about Riverside is what they've been doing better this second half is wrapping up and securing tackles. I guarantee you that was something that they focused on this second half in order, because a main issue was they were there, but they weren't making the big plays. And now they're just making these big plays in the backfield, stopping them. So now Ezell-Harding is just wasting clock trying to get back into the game.
There's a carry up the middle, stuffed by that Riverside defense, a gain of a yard.
Number 4, the ball carrier for the Eagles, stopped by the center.
Because like I pointed out earlier, I mean, Ezell-Harding really hasn't drove down the field in your typical offensive fashion. It has been shortened field. It has been big plays, one good run, one deep pass. It hasn't been your traditional offensive drive from Ezell-Harding, and this really does put them to the test.
It's final. Franklin Christian has the number 1 seed in the South, 14-6, the victory over Lancaster Christian. So if Ezell-Harding wins tonight, their battle with Lancaster Christian is for whoever hosts the playoff game.
Very quick game.
And shovel pass in the backfield, right side carry by Coleman, and Braxton Coleman stopped out of bounds at the 41-yard line. Catch the replay to see if he stepped out of bounds there. Likely have the camera angle there, but we'll see what we got.
Oh, so I definitely got a good call right there by our officiating crew. What they do right there is they completely get.
Yep, step right there on the 40.
It was very small, but really good call by our officiating crew tonight. And honestly, that was a very close game by both of those teams. I mean, Lancaster, we haven't seen the film or anything like that. We can only make opinions from the scoreboard, but that was a very close, low-scoring game from both of them.
If you look, of course, at the box score on that, it was 14 points by Lancaster. The only points Lancaster had as carry on the left side after the reception and after contact gets a 1st down across midfield. And I believe that was Jamari Liddell who had the ball there and continues along.
1st down, Eagles.
And Ezell-Harding doing what Ezell-Harding hasn't done all game. It's just driving down the field. What were you saying about Lancaster again?
So the box score on that, Franklin Christian scored in the second quarter twice. He scored to make it 14-0. Lancaster got their only touchdown in the third quarter of 6, and they don't have a field goal kicker, so couldn't get the 2-point conversion attempt. So now FCA, the road to the playoffs in the South, goes through Franklin Christian at Jim Warren Park.
And Franklin Christian must have played great defense to only let up 6 points to Lancaster. I mean, there's a lot of good defenses in 8-man this year.
Across midfield, Ezell-Harding trying to make this a 1-score game as Liddell keeps it through the middle. Once he turns on the Jets, he's gone. Touchdown, Ezell-Harding.
He's at least got to have 200 on the ground today. I mean, what a great quarterback keep. And the blocking was all the way there for Ezell-Harding. And it's been the play they've been running all night, having so much succession with. And then he completely runs through both defenders, and he has the speed to outrun them. So by the time they get into that gap that he's running through, he's already gone into the end zone, touchdown. And now we have ourselves a 48-52 game here.
Chance to make it a 2-point game, and again, stopping 2-point conversions is what's going to give Ezell-Harding the edge here, or Riverside Christian the edge here. The Eagles fighting for a chance to defend their state title. And on the road against the Riverside Knights in homecoming night, it's very, very crucial. Braxton Coleman almost untouched. And make that now 52-50 with 5:09 left to go in the third. As we want to remind you, the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week is sponsored by Grace Point Healthcare, modern medicine the old-fashioned way. Grow, Live, Give, helping you fit all of the pieces together in your financial puzzle. Tennessee Heat Athletics, visit TennesseeHeatSports.com. And by Jets Pizza of Springfield, Fort Campbell, Clarksville, and Goodlettsville. Let's get Jets. Spencer Thompson, Jack Helwig bringing the action from Fayetteville, Tennessee. Still a frost advisory right now in Fayetteville.
Oh, I can feel it.
Sitting at a 44 degrees, clear skies. A good night for football. It's
You told me it was going to be cloudy on the way here.
Yeah. You didn't ask the temperatures.
I did not. You should have told me.
Now 5:09 left in the third as Ezell-Harding. They're down by 2. Defense is going to be the name of the game. If they can get a stop like they did as try an onside kick, they can't touch it until it goes 10 yards, and Whidden just falls in it on the 49.
Smart play there by Whidden. Doesn't even attempt to have the ball because they're not going to touch it otherwise. Ezell-Harding gets a penalty, so he just jumps on it and then full commits to it before Ezell-Harding can do anything about it, and then gets the ball right inside opponent territory. And Spencer is done with his hot chocolate, and now we're going to have a cold 20 minutes left.
It's kept me warm for the most part.
Oh, for sure.
And again, whoever wins this spot, whoever wins this game tonight, they're in the playoffs officially. And rush up the middle, Crutcher Ezell with a gain of about 6 yards.
So just to kind of give a little background story about, like, my playoff experience and, you know, like, giving births and everything like that. You know, I've never been in a situation where it's like win or go home, because the team I played for, we always made the playoffs. We never really had a losing record. So when it comes to playoff time, I'll get to speak more on that. But like I said, the nerves are still there, and they're just going to bite down the fourth quarter just because of how close of a game this is.
Chad Thompson, the defensive coordinator for Ezell-Harding, trying to keep his team in it and have them stop Raymond Hunt. They're not going to get him on that tackle. Raymond Hunt dives for the first down.
And it's almost like we're living in a simulation. Everybody just seemed to stop. It's like everyone on the field just thought he went down right here. Look. And then everyone right back on Riverside just gets going, and they get the first down to extend the drive. Nice play there, keeping the ball moving on his feet.
Fortunately, this is not the fourth quarter. Otherwise, you would see Ezell-Harding using their timeouts to try and conserve time to march down the field. But sweeping the backfield to Crutcher Ezell. Can he get through? Weaves past one of the defensemen there and gets another first down. Incredible.
So it's about the 20.
To the 27-yard line, first and 10 Riverside.
Looks like about the 27-yard line. And again, Crutcher Ezell. Imagine what he can do in the playoffs.
That's the thing. You have a guy like that going into playoffs. That is a huge advantage, because guys like that you can't really plan for, because you don't know what because they're just so dynamic, and what they bring to an offense is so unique.
Scramble. Rubelski up the middle, avoiding several tackles. Jake Rubelski finally brought down at about the 14-yard line. And another first down for the Knights, this time inside the red zone.
And that was some great keeper by Rubelski right there. I mean, he completely, like, as the offensive line opened up, there he saw, oh, no receivers are open, the middle of the field wide open, and he says, I'm going to take this for the first down. And he doesn't slide. He jukes out one defender. He drags another, and then he goes down and gets a good 15-yard gain there at the end to extend this drive and get another first down for Riverside as they're moving and draining more clock.
Just over 3 minutes left as in the third as Rubelski airs it to the end zone. Touchdown, Riverside! Incredible catch!
Rubelski's pass complete to number 13, O'Neal. Touchdown, Riverside.
And the play was all the way there just from the very beginning. Just a simple post route. They don't get to it in time. It's perfectly thrown right over to the defender, just right for them to make a play on it. And now we have ourselves a 58-50 game. And like you keep saying, two-point conversions are the key.
This stop is crucial for Ezell-Harding. They couldn't stop the touchdown. They have to stop this two-point conversion here to tie it up.
With this, it's still a one-point game.
Or to have a chance to tie it up. Here's Rubelski scrambling. He's got pressure on him, and he's stopped. It's an 8-point game.
All they need is one score and one two-point conversion, and this game is tied up at 58-all. Let's see how Ezell-Harding responds here after a nice defensive stop on the two-point conversion.
.255 left to go in the third as Riverside gets a touchdown there, but not a two-point conversion, making it an 8-point game as Ezell-Harding will try to make the return. Weave through, and second man contacts him, brings him down at about the 33-yard line. So how will Ezell-Harding respond to this touchdown? They responded to stop the two-point conversion. However, it's next their chance to get a touchdown here.
First and 10, Eagles from their own 33-yard line.
Now, one of the key things, the most underrated things you're probably going to see here in this second half is usage of timeouts, gathering your guys together and making the proper guys we need to group together and get this, because in a game this close, you really need to get your guys' heads in the game because playoff spot is on the line here.
Now first and 10. Shovel pass in the backfield. Braxton Coleman stiff arms, gets past another guy, tripped up by his feet, and they'll move the chains for a first down.
It was a good attempt there by Riverside. They tried to make some good tackles, but the stiff arms were just too much for them to handle. And as they get a quick first down, Ezell-Harding has plenty of time in another quarter to get going. But the thing is, they need the two-point conversion. It's not like they just need a touchdown.
Yep.
And how much your defense led up 58 points. So how confident are you in your defense, you know? So it's almost like you need to get this ball down the field as soon as possible.
6 yards short of midfield as Liddell carries it, trying to get past, but brought down in the backfield by Whidden.
The ball carrier, tackled by number 15, Whidden.
And that's exactly what you need to do. Whidden has done a great job of getting inside that backfield and making tackles for a loss. He's had a lot of them this game. He's had a lot of edge-setting tackles, and it's really helped this Riverside defense in getting a lot of their key stops.
Fourth quarter right now, 36-26, Evangel leading over Freedom. And, of course, you already know the final score. Franklin Christian just clinched home field advantage through the postseason.
Freedom, I counted on you. I counted on you, Freedom. I was the one guy that picked you on our show.
That's why they are predictions.
Yeah, well, this is why I don't do predictions.
Second down and 12. Liddell again, flag on the side.
Might be for holding.
Break the ball carrier.
We'll get the call for Tidwell. Will give us the story in just a few moments. And we'll see if this ball is brought back.
Holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay the down.
They bring it back for 10 yards.
10-yard penalty, second. 22.
Now make that a 2nd down and 20.
Second down, 20.
As the Eagles take this play from their own 34-yard line.
And we are about to hit the big 4, the 4th quarter.
There's a handoff up the middle. Braxton Coleman again trying to push through this Riverside defense and gets a gain of a few yards there. Under 60 seconds left to go in the 3rd.
Things are looking a little bit worrisome for this offense. They're struggling to get this ball moving. Riverside has really stepped up on defense so far in the 2nd half. You know, the 1st half was a very high scoring, but honestly, if we were looking at a box score, I know there was a very early 6-second score on Riverside's part. That was a great first attack, but clock's been going by very quick because offense been taking their time moving the ball down the field. Not a lot of big plays, just a lot of driving, but good stops here and there.
Another and a double reverse to Braxton Coleman. Goes to the left side. He's got some open space. Braxton Coleman tripped up, but stopped after the 1st down marker. And Braxton Coleman, another key player, why the Ezell-Harding Eagles are across the field.
I'm going to have to disagree with you. I think he got that right there at the end. I think that fall forward, and he does get the 1st down right there as we got the markers moving on the field. It was a great tackle right there, but unfortunately, as he falls forward, gets the 1st down as the ball crosses the plane, and that sparks. And actually, we're going to go right into the 4th quarter as time winds down, no seconds left.
At the end of 3, it's the same score that Lancaster had over Riverside in their game, 58-50, but still 12 more minutes to play. Riverside leads by 8, 12 minutes away from clinching the 3rd seed in the South. Back in a few moments in the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week. Start of the final 12 minutes, and looks like we're going to need a false start.
Prior to the snap, encroachment on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Replay 1st down.
And it looks like it wasn't false start, Fetzer.
No, either a false start or encroachment. Just didn't see it there. But
That's all good.
you win some, you lose some. Single reverse, and it's a flea flicker. Right side toss and incomplete.
And played that
no
down
flag.
to the very – no, there shouldn't be a flag.
Yeah, a lot of Ezell-Harding side demanding, shouting for a flag there, but nothing doing.
Nope, shouldn't be a flag or anything like that. I think that was great coverage all the way through. Nice little flea flicker. It was the only reason I say it was not a penalty or wasn't defensive pass interference was because the contact was equal on both sides, from the receiver and from the defensive back side. If there was no type of retaliation from the wide receiver, they definitely would have got that flag there. But the fact they were both fighting for that jump ball, even though it was underthrown, that's why there was no flag there.
Just goes to a 2nd and 5 for Ezell-Harding. Sweep in the backfield. It's handoff to 7. Weaves through, spins out another tackle. Where has he been all game? How many tackles is he going to spit out? Inside the 30.
And that's the life to the drive. And as we're going to see right there, a nice little cut inside of bounds and one spin, and then a nice little juke. He breaks out 4 guys right there, 5 guys. And I'm not talking about the fast food restaurant.
Why did I know you were going to say something about that?
My jokes are terrible.
What an amazing rush by either Barker or Billiot.
Again, we do not have the updated roster. We're using max reps. So if we do
shovel pass in the backfield. There's another one, another carry by the man who just spun out 4 people and takes it down to 110 with him going out of bounds.
And this Ezell-Harding offense is moving steadily, which they were not doing the first half, but they're still moving the ball downfield. Now the thing is, I'm going to say it one more time. It's not like they have to score a touchdown, obviously, but they need the 2-point conversion too, just to tie the game. So wasting all this time going downfield and not trying to make these big plays, throwing it downfield like you have been doing, or trying to break out these huge runs, it's kind of killing them because they don't get that 2-point conversion. Riverside has plenty of potential to waste a lot of clock.
Which they are right now. And here's Jamari Liddell weaving through the defense to the end zone. Touchdown, Ezell-Harding.
I think I might get jinxed more than any announcer in any sport possible.
And this 2-point conversion is crucial, but what a touchdown.
And then we've seen it so many times tonight. A nice little quarterback keep. It splits the seam right down the middle, leaves it wide open, and he's going to outrace everybody on Riverside's defense. Leads to a touchdown. I think they have scored on that play every single time except like twice.
Chance to tie the game. It's a 56-58 score right now. Jamari Liddell brought down in the backfield, and the 2-point conversion is no good. Who other to make that play than Crutcher Ezell?
I'll say in crunch time, there he is. And that is a huge play with 10 minutes left because, like I kept saying, they took a long time to get down that field. And, yes, they got the touchdown, but they're still down 2 points. So now, because they don't have a field goal kicker, they're going to have to go all the way down and score another touchdown just because they didn't get this 2-point conversion. And nothing against them, but Crutcher made a great stop. But the thing is, now you only have 10 minutes left, and Riverside, who's been going great on offense this second half, has plenty of room to run out a lot of clock, especially with guys that are speedsters like Crutcher Ezell himself.
The Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week is sponsored by Grace Point Healthcare, modern medicine the old-fashioned way.
The thing you do
Grow, Grow, Live, Give, helping you fit all the pieces together in your financial puzzle. Tennessee Heat Athletics, visit TennesseeHeatSports.com. And by Jets Pizza of Springfield, Fort Campbell, Clarksville, and Goodlettsville. Let's get Jets. And while we have this kickoff, your thoughts?
No, don't worry. We have to get the sponsors in there, promise. I was saying you just need to watch out for an onside kick, and there is.
There's another one, and it goes 10 yards, tapped, and Whidden got back on it. Good reaction.
And that was almost scary because that ball went 10 yards, and they didn't get it, and it might be.
Whidden's down.
No, Whidden's getting back up. He was just he held in that ball for a long time. But good reaction by Whitten there. It took him a second to get there because I don't think that bounce was very unpredictable. But once it bounced 10 yards, it just came out of Ezell-Harding's hands. And, you know, that could have been a huge play for them, getting the ball right back with 10 minutes left and possibly getting that touchdown that they really need.
So a handoff up the middle. Crutcher Ezell just handed it off to his man. Looked like Raymond Hunt there. Yep, Raymond Hunt. Carry for about 5-6 yards.
Gain of 6.
And that's been the deadly duo all game. Raymond Hunt has done a really good job of keeping the ball on the ground. Crutcher Ezell has been a speedster on the outside. That's been the combo. And the thing is with Riverside is you do need a score here, but you also need to get rid of as much time as possible. So steady driving down the field is the key here.
And there's a rush there and a stop defensively for a third down made by Riverside. And
Hunt, the ball carrier.
looks like Ezell-Harding's bench was a little bit, couldn't tell if they were fired up. They were upset about a call in
Gain
some
of 2
regard,
on the
but
play.
I'm not sure what
Third down,
call.
2.
Then again, I couldn't see the bottom of the screen, so I don't know if it was a late hit out of bounds or they're on defense, so that doesn't make sense. But I'm not sure what it would have been. Maybe a hold. I don't know. Like I said, too hard to tell just because I can't see due to the officiating crew and coaches on the 50, but it's okay.
there's Crutcher Ezell again up the middle, and that'll move the chains for a first down.
Ezell,
As
the ball
And just
carrier,
milking
picks up the
clock
first
right
down.
here. That's all they got to do. It's just keep going through.
Coach Dustin McGee coming into this season was 14-11 overall, and with the start of 2-3, 16-14. Not a bad start for your first 2 seasons as head coach in 8-man football, and of course trying to get his team in position to defend their state title. As Crutcher Ezell in the backfield takes the ball with a carry, he's got open space. Crutcher Ezell weaving through, probably got the first down there, and he'll move the
definitely-
chains again.
He definitely got that first down. There's no way they don't give it to him. They don't mark that short. They don't mark that short by inches. Interesting.
Looks close.
It probably too close to tell.
Gain of right
I'll always
at
give it
10.
to our officiating crew. Can't go against them. They always got the
Second
better
down
angles than
short.
we do all the way up here, 50 yards out in the box. But
Maybe a sideline cam would give him the best angle on there. We'll maybe have that later in the season.
yeah, we never know, though. Nothing's guaranteed, obviously. And like I said, milking clock is the key here. Riverside needs a score, but they need to take their time getting this score because you want to give as less time to Ezell-Harding as you can.
Handoff up the middle, tripped up in the backfield for a stop, and now a third down and 3 with Raymond Hunt just not able to go anywhere.
And that was just a powerful move by everybody on the defensive line right there, just powering through that offense in order to make a stop in the backfield. And looks like there's a timeout.
Third down.
Timeout called as
Timeout,
Riverside Christian
Riverside.
calls a timeout there. So perfect time for us to look at the coach over there, Coach Creasy. Of course, 37-30 overall. They start the season 1-2, so now 38-32. But the bigger story, 2 years ago, Coach Creasy was diagnosed with leukemia, and 2 years later, back here on the field, coaching and doing exactly what he loves. Not everybody survives the chemotherapy treatments or the cancer treatments. Everybody has their own path with that, but Coach Creasy, the adversity and everything he's gone through to get up to this point, he has a chance to, on homecoming night, punch his team's ticket to the Division I playoffs for the second year in a row.
Very powerful story, honestly. I mean, fighting through leukemia, getting back here, very good start by him and his crew and everything like that at Riverside. Got a lot of potential to go very far with the talent that he has under his coaching crew.
And this Riverside offense is facing now a 3rd and 4. Ezell Eagles at this point down by a 2-point conversion, trying to get another score. Deep toss across the middle to Whidden, overthrew his man by just a step. Now down to a 4th down.
And I know you guys couldn't see it on your side because we didn't get it, but the receiver was so worried about making sure saying I'm open, he slowed down, and that was the reason why he couldn't get to the ball. Unfortunately, I'm not sure what happened on Ezell-Harding's part with why he was that wide open. I'm guessing a little miscommunication on defense, maybe on the secondary's part, but that could have been very bad for them if that pass was completed.
And on a 4th down, they're going to go for it here. Just a few yards to gain. Ezell-Harding gets a big stop here. Big stop if they can make it. Rubelski to the right side, overthrew Crutcher Ezell by a step.
And even if they didn't get it, I don't hate that 4th down call that they do because They kind of have to go for it on 4th down right here. The thing that I don't understand is you have a guy like Crutcher Ezell that's been very good at getting to the outside. You should have him in the backfield on a little seam, or not seam, but out route, and then get that extra yard or two that you need, because he's going to beat anybody in space. He's been doing it all game.
But at least for Ezell-Harding's defense, it's a lucky break for them, as now 1st and 10 on the 41-yard line for the Eagles to try and march down the field. Carry up the middle, Jamari Liddell. He's got some space, weaving through the defense. Jamari Liddell all the way. Can he get there? Touchdown, Ezell-Harding.
Can I get player of the week? Player of the week. I mean, this is how they scored on their last drive. He's great at opening in space, and he's going to beat everybody on the defense. I said it over and over again. The blocking is perfect for Ezell-Harding right there, and then they get another 6 points on the board. Now things for Riverside are looking intimidating.
A 4-point lead, this 2-point conversion they need to try and put it back on their defense. They've so far stopped, I believe, 3 2-point conversions in a row. So their defense looking good on the goal line stands.
And even if you stop this 2-point conversion, or even if they get this 2-point conversion, it's not the end of the world. It's still a tie game if you get a
Braxton Coleman headed to the edge, steps in, and
he didn't get it.
He's not there.
No.
He didn't get it. He didn't get it.
And if we can get a replay,
yeah, we'll get the edge. We'll get the edge of that.
I'm going to be honest right there. He had it all the way.
He should have gone to the end zone. That's unfortunate.
All you have to do is stick the ball out. That's all you have to do there is stick the ball out. And we've seen it done. We've seen Crutcher Ezell do that to get first downs this game in a 2-point conversion, because now all Riverside has to do is score a touchdown. They're up by 2.
Yep.
And now we're in this repeating cycle with only 8 minutes left. But beware of the onside kick.
Yep. Onside kick has been the story of the game for Ezell-Harding, but we'll see what Coach McGee and company can cook up here.
I would be interested to see them not go for the onside kick, because they don't really need to get the ball back necessarily. Not like they're down or anything like that. They should honestly just try to kick that ball wide, and I'll show it on the camera. Right here is that open space, and just try to get there. That would be the most ideal call. And that's
Let's see what they do here. Onside. Goes to 10 yards, and Whidden catches it. Goes past the 50-yard line.
And I don't like that on Ezell-Harding's part, just because now they only have to drive 50 yards down the field to get a touchdown.
Brings it out to the Eagles' 46-yard line.
And now on the 46-yard line, we'll see what Riverside can do as they're down by 4. Plenty of time. Plenty of time for either of these teams.
So with Riverside, I think those big plays have been working for them. Those passing plays have been underthrown, overthrown. You still got to keep going to those. You can't keep relying on the same guys. You have to let other guys make plays, which is they were doing good in that third quarter, late second quarter.
Rubelski has got wide open space on the left. He's got a blocker. Rubelski weaving through down to about the 25-yard line, and Rubelski.
The ball carrier.
So many players tonight that could be nominated for Extreme Player of the Week.
Rubelski just takes the ball in his hands, and all he does is just run to the outside. Nobody was there. The blocking from the wide out right there was perfect. He sets the edge so that way he can get an extra 6 yards from that play. And now we're about at the 25-yard line, and Riverside has a chance to go and take the lead.
They'll start out on the 25-yard line. Crutcher Ezell, he's got defenders chasing him. Maybe a space if he gets past the man. Gets forced out of bounds at the 23.
Ezell, the ball carrier.
And honestly, Crutcher could have been there, but the issue there was the blocking from the wide out, because the way they've been getting all their big plays. Camera's having a little bit of issues.
Just a smidge.
Just a tad bit. Just been struggling with me all game. But if that wide receiver can set a block right there, he gets a touchdown. That wide receiver has to push that defensive back inside.
Crutcher Ezell again to the outside, finding the space, weaving through. Crutcher Ezell to the house! Touchdown, Riverside!
Number 8, Ezell.
Looks like he has a little bit of Christian McCaffrey in him, I see. Look at all the cutbacks and the speed from Ezell. I say he gets to the side. It was great blocking, and he sees it wasn't there. Cuts inside, and then he just beats everybody to the edge. He had at least 3 jukes in him to get there.
Just one more time just to see how incredible Crutcher Ezell was on that play. And now a 2-point lead. Chance to make it 4. Ezell, 2-point conversion's good. 66 to 62. And right now, the ball is in the Eagles' court.
Now, the 2-point conversion doesn't really matter there as much as it has other times. Well, yeah, it doesn't matter there as much, even if Ezell-Harding got down the field and got their 2-point conversion. Still nice to get it for momentum purposes. So now here's the thing, 7 minutes left, and they have the ball again. So it's all about, listen, the score at this rate is just going to keep going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So I think if you're the offense and you have the lead, you just need to drain as much clock as possible. So the first team to get a stop with the lead is going to win this game.
And booted deep for Riverside. It's going to bounce, not to the end zone. They started at the 1-yard line. And return here for Cousins.
And looks like there's a flag on the play. It might be blocking the back.
Might get something along those lines. Flag towards the edge there. And get the call from Tidwell. There's another flag at the end of the play. Possibly unsportsmanlike. We'll see if we get the word from Tidwell. He's got the rest of the story for us. Tidwell and company just trying to make sure that everything's taken care of and appropriate.
Holding. On the return team, that penalty be half the distance. Then we have an unsportsmanlike on the return team. That'll be half the distance. Be first down.
I'd like to wonder what the unsportsmanlike is there, but I'm sure Coach Crazy and company will keep it in line almost immediately. But
so now you have to drive 94 yards down the field, which can happen because of the way the quarterback keeps have been working all game. At this point, got 300 yards probably on the ground. So the main thing you want to do here as Riverside is you want to get a stop here really quick, really clean, inside of point territory, force a punt, and it's a run-out clock because then you are in good territory, and you can also get a score to put away the game. But if you don't get a score, they're pinned back in that territory. Maybe you've burned about 4 minutes of clock out, and then now they're in a tricky situation. It's just all about putting away the game while you have the lead.
you have to drive it down the field. Plenty of time to do so. Of course, for Ezell-Harding, part of the name of the game here is drive it down the field while keeping the least amount of time on the clock.
Yeah. And that's the thing is they could just break one away right here if they wanted to.
Let's see what Liddell can do. Weaving through Jamari Liddell, getting to open space. A great tackle there in by Marcus Whitworth. Had he not done that, Jamari Liddell would have been gone.
No, that is the open field tackle of the game right there. I mean, he comes in right there from that right side of the screen with the wide receiver. Oh, wait, no, he don't. I thought he was at the bottom of the screen. But that was a solid open field tackle because without that, he doesn't. Without that, he gets the touchdown.
Good play by the senior to keep Liddell from going away. As The Riverside defense stops Liddell with a gain of about 3 yards.
Break the ball carrier, tackle by Sims, Ogle, Whitten.
So with time winding
Gain of
down,
about
you
3.
have to wonder
Second down,
what's
7.
how much time do you want to give Riverside the ball back with, because you have to get a touchdown here. So how much time do you want to give Riverside the ball back with and feel comfortable about it? I'd say about a minute 30, a minute maybe. That's also going to be very tricky to
Yep.
get to.
Ezell-Harding has been in this situation before earlier in the season. You think about it as well. I'll get to that thought after this play. Second down and a handoff up the middle. Here's some open space here by 7. Either Billiot or Barker. Wide open, being chased down. Can he make it? Touchdown, Ezell-Harding. But was it too early on the touchdown? That's the big question, but another 6 for the Eagles.
Good for a touchdown.
And here it comes. Just that one block by the wide receiver, and then everybody has the speed to get to the outside and get the touchdown. And now the key thing is, will Riverside try and get a quick score, or will they try and ease things down and try to get a last-minute touchdown, trusting their offense had to put up 66 points? And the 2-point conversion right here doesn't matter too much, but you just want to get it just in case Riverside does get a quick score, and I'll explain why after this play.
Ezell-Harding was put in this situation earlier in the year when they collided with Franklin Classical School in their first game in the South. If they had not won that game, this situation would not be happening, as into the end zone. 2-point conversion is good with now a 70-66 lead by 4. But again, if Ezell-Harding had not won that overtime game against Franklin Classical, changes the mentality of this game entirely.
Yep, absolutely. Now, I'd like to go into why that 2-point conversion matters so much. Because let's say it's 66-68 right now. Metaphorically, let's say they didn't get this. Riverside gets that field, goes downfield, gets 6 points, a 4-point game. Riverside gets a 2-point conversion. It's a 6-point game now.
Yep.
So now they have to go downfield, they get 6 points. If they don't get that 2-point conversion, it's a tied game. So them getting it right there makes it from a tied game to a 1 game. It's simple things like that.
Yep. 5:35 left to go. Of course, with all the other games concluding around the conference, want to thank everybody for watching. All 45 of you watching this broadcast that has been going on for about 3 hours now, getting close to the length of an NFL football game. And onside kick again. It does go to 10 yards, but immediately picked up and fallen on by Riverside's Levi Ogle.
And there I actually do. I know I've been hating on the onside kick all game, but actually I do like it there just because it gives them shorter distance to drive down the field. The offense for them have been looking very solid on both parts. So if they were to drive down this field and let's say take 2 minutes off the clock, they can easily get a score in 3 minutes time and then put this game away. It's going to come down to who has the ball last and who leaves the team with as little time as possible.
Well, let's see what Riverside does here. Rubelski is going to keep it. He's got a blocker downfield. Rubelski trying to weave through, trips over his own guy, making a block there, but gets past the 30-yard line.
Rubelski, the ball carrier.
And Rubelski has done really good with his quarterback keeps in this fourth quarter right here, as we're going to see on the replay. It's a nice little trickery, and then the blocking was just all the way there, and it's just speed going all the way down to about the 30-yard line. This is honestly just an endurance test at this rate. Because I can't imagine how tired these guys are. I couldn't imagine how many times there's just been big plays like this and just running 80 yards down the field.
Tired and cold. You could see one of the we could see one of the Ezell players being stretched out by the trainer on the sideline, as the line will not move farther than 2 yards for that Eagles defensive line, and gain of about 2 yards for a second down.
I have played in games that have went in overtimes, like double overtime and things like that. I mean, and those games took life out of me. But I've never been in a game this high scoring, that there's been this much running, and just, I couldn't imagine. So credit to everybody on this field.
Right side, Raymond Hunt is going to be tripped up in the backfield, loses the football. Braxton Coleman picks it up, and Ezell-Harding is going to get a defensive touchdown.
And they tried to do too much right there, and it causes a huge mistake. And they just ripped the ball out of his hands, and then unfortunately he tries to fall on the ball, but the problem is it's a nice simple scoop and score, and then his speed has just proven to be unmatched this entire game, and then it's an easy touchdown right there. So now we have a 10-point game right here, which is 2 touchdowns, which is why I said earlier that 2-point conversion was crucial for them, because let's say they didn't get that one and they didn't get this one, then it's an 8-point game, and then it's still a 1-score game for Riverside. It doesn't look too bad. But now you've secured a 2-score game, so now Riverside is really on the fences here, and it looked like a game that could have easily been in their hands.
They have to stop this 2-point conversion here, otherwise it is a 2-touchdown game. And granted, if that's the case, they could at least tie it up, but however, would rather get 2 touchdowns and then win it. But with 4:06 left, they have 2 of their timeouts left. This is one of those situations where you have to get a stop.
It's just the tricky things about 8-man football. And there is a timeout taken, I'm assuming on, false start maybe?
Delay a game against the Eagles, back them up 5 yards, retry the conversion.
So delay a game.
A delay of game on a 2-point play. I never thought I'd see it.
Probably the amount of time I was having to go down the field there. As 10 points, and 2-point conversion is good. Diving catch made. 78-66. 4:07 left to go in the 4th. Again, the Eagles leading by 12 and a chance to get back to the playoffs and defend their state title. .407 left to go in the 4th as the Eagles lead by 12. Going to attempt another onside kick here and doesn't go 10 yards. Riverside falls on it.
And I know I've been making so many comments about on the offside kicks, or onside kicks, I mean, but I don't understand why you do it there. You're up by 2 touchdowns at this point. Now you're going to give them only 50 yards to drive downfield when they're desperate. I don't understand why you don't pin them down right there and force them to drive all the way down this field, which has been a difficult task, especially because Ezell-Harding's defense has really stepped up.
Riverside only down by 12. It is a 2-possession game, so quick score is what's going to help them here. And that's basically been the story of the game to this point, has been quick scores. Rubelski looking for a pass. Gonna air it out deep and short. It's picked off. The Eagles pick it off.
And I think I hate to say it. I hate to be the heartbreak kid right here, but this might have been the nail in the coffin. He had him down the middle. I don't know if he was trying to throw to that or the double coverage route, because the receiver fell down in the middle trying to track the ball, but you're going to need a miracle here, Riverside, in order to win. And I hate to say it because you guys have played very well this entire game. You kept up with the former defending state champions, but things aren't completely out of the water yet. As far as I'm aware, but Spencer has 10 million different opportunities and different playoff situations for every team. Apparently, everyone can make it if something happens.
No, not at this point with the win that happened, as Braxton Coleman will carry it up the middle to run down the clock. But now with Franklin Christian winning their playoff game, the road in the South goes through Franklin. And if that is the case, and since that is the case, if Ezell-Harding holds the score here, Lancaster, Ezell-Harding, that's for the right to host a playoff game in the first round. That determines if you're traveling on the road or if you're going to host the game in your home city. And just imagine Lancaster Christian being a road team the entirety of the playoffs. Wow, that'd be interesting.
So Riverside, if they don't win, they're out now.
Yes, the loss tonight officially without is because of tiebreakers, and Riverside's all their South games are done. Yep.
Unfortunate end.
Yep, and right side, Jamari Liddell is going to weave through, and there's, unfortunately, your nail on the coffin, and touchdown.
And you could see the sideline going crazy right now because they know it. You could see Riverside sideline. They know it.
Yep.
They've just won this game. That was it right there. 84-66. I'm kind of glad we chose this game. No disrespect to the other ones that we had on the table, but this was an exciting one.
We were heavily considering Franklin Christian and Lancaster Christian. Of course, that game with low scoring, it would have been a good defensive game to witness, but tonight has been.
But then again, you only would have had probably about 45 minutes with us.
Yep.
How quick that game went.
2-point conversion attempt and pitched in the backfield. The flags fly. Waiting for the call is.
Illegal formation. Walk. Just walk it. Illegal formation on the offense. 5-yard penalty. We tried it down.
So it's formation, not a false start there, and probably the chance to go up by 20. Riverside has 2 timeouts. If they got some quick scores here, is possible, but it's a hard uphill battle to climb. As it's tossed to the end zone, 2-point conversion is good.
Benzer, I hate to be that guy because I always, whenever I watch NFL games and I see games that are like, it's like 50 seconds left and they're down by 21.
You can see the Ezell bench celebrating because they know that they are 2 minutes and 48 seconds away from having a chance at defending their state title.
And they should be very happy. They played a solid fourth quarter, and I really do feel bad for Riverside because they did play good. It was just one fumble, and then that just gave Ezell-Harding the fire to finish the game, and they closed this game. And an unfortunate end to the season, but promising things from this Riverside team. Nothing to go home and frown about. If you're a Riverside fan, you should be very happy with your boys and how they played tonight. They put up 66 points against the defending state champion. If you want to take a positive away from this, that's definitely the positive. And I usually rag on teams and stuff like this in my segment and stuff like that. I promise, no one's getting ragged on Sunday. This was a solid game from both teams.
And of course, next week the Riverside Knights, they have the Patriots on the road. Another onside kick attempted and fallen on by Whidden. But they've got a game on the road in Springfield against the Patriots, and then after that they got Providence. But the other factor in here as well, Riverside, of course, they've got the Division II championship against Franklin Christian, and by the virtue of how that'll play out, they'll host the Division II championship as they have in the past several years.
And again, if you want to take a positive away from that, that's another positive because as I look at it from my perspective, they are favored, in my opinion, to win that game with the advantage that they have of home field advantage, if I'm correct. It's not
more than likely, it depends on if the Division II championship would be hosted at Christian Community. More than likely, it would be hosted at the higher seed because of CCS potentially hosting a playoff game. As Crutcher Ezell goes to the left side, staying on his feet, Crutcher Ezell gets stuck out of bounds.
Ezell, the ball carrier.
At least it stops the
takes
clock.
down to the
It does.
36-yard line. First
You'd
and
want a
10,
touchdown, of
Riverside.
course, but it stops the clock.
Listen, I know I've said it, but like I'm gonna hope. I'm gonna hope something crazy can happen, just because we've seen it all game. Maybe an onside kick. I don't know. I think the nail's in the coffin. I think they've closed this game, but Riverside's not gonna go down without fighting.
And the other game that was going on tonight between Franklin Classical and Providence Christian, Coach Austin gets his second win, 32-28.
And guess who called that game right? Nobody else. Your guy on camera, Jack Elwig, with Spencer Thompson.
As a first down, Rubelski weaving through the defense. Rubelski gets out of bounds and is stopped short of the first down. And he's at 2:32 left on the game clock.
Good play there. I think you should probably try to catch the defense off their feet right now and just try to throw a pass deep. And if you want any chance, you have 2 minutes, 30 seconds left. Get some scores on the table. And hopefully try to make any comeback if you want any chance of winning this game. But Coach Austin getting a win, that was a very good bounce-back game for them, which is what I predicted on the show. Everyone was picking against Coach Austin, but even after what I saw last week when last game he covered.
And now 2nd down and 2 as Rubelski airs it out to the right side, incomplete. Pass intended for Marcus Whitworth goes incomplete, and now 2:25.
Falls incomplete. 3rd down 2.
Again, that was that deep pass that I was talking about they should probably go for. Didn't get it. You have a couple yards here. Run the ball, get that first down, keep the drive alive. But back to Coach Austin and everything like that. Good bounce-back game like I thought. Glad to see him pick up a win after what happened last week against CCS.
Of course, Evangel gets the win against Freedom, 49-32. A close game against Providence Christian at home. And Franklin Christian locks the road to the Division I playoffs in the South. Toss to the left side, incomplete, intended for Raymond Hunt. And that makes it even more interesting. Of course, Ezell-Harding is hosting the rivalry game between them and Lancaster Christian in the final week of the regular season. And that determines for Ezell-Harding, if they lose, they go on the road potentially 3 weeks in a row, because if they get number 3 seed, they'd have to win on the road in the first round and then on the road in the second.
I'm going to be honest, with how Ezell-Harding just played today, it's hard to pick against them.
Granted, they've got a week to they've got technically 2 weeks to make the decision on any predictions, but that's going to be interesting. Deep toss towards the end zone, broken up at the last second.
And a great defensive play right there. Reads the ball all the way to the wide receiver. And then stops the touchdown to prevent any kind of life to come back into Riverside.
Yep.
And with winding down with almost 2 minutes left, looks like they're just going to wind this clock down and walk out of here with the win on Riverside's homecoming.
And a 20-point difference is what the end score is. When Riverside had the lead several times, they had the lead by 10 at one point. And yeah, imagine if Riverside had made a few of their 2-point conversions, or if Ezell-Harding had made a few of theirs, then they could have potentially been a changed game. But now with a 20-point lead, Ezell-Harding, they've just got to run out the clock here. 2:14, pitch in the backfield, and Coleman gets stopped at about the 26-yard line.
Before the ball carrier for the Eagles. Tackled by Ezell.
There's no 2-minute warning in 8-man football, so it's just going to continue to wind down with under 2 left to go. We'll hopefully get an interview with Coach Dustin McGee after the game. Stay tuned for the post-game report. We'll give our final thoughts, get an interview with Coach McGee, give our final thoughts, and a little preview for tomorrow's matchup in the afternoon between the Bowling Green Warriors and the Sacred Heart of Jesus High School Knights in Jackson. Interconference game that we'll see between the teams. Myself and James Shannon will be on call for that. Zachary's still out. You'll be off Saturdays as you usually are, and
as much as I would like to be there, as much as I don't want to be off this Saturday and things like that, because I would like to see those two teams play.
First time Bowling Green will ever get any coverage for the 2020 season with 8-man extreme. We're excited to cover them, and they're taking a long travel to Jackson for sure. So they're waking up early. They're having the game earlier so that they can get home in a reasonable time.
That's what I'm saying. It's a nice midday game, especially Bowling Green making that travel. I really want to see how they play, which is why I'm not trying to bash our boy Zachary, which is why I'm kind of surprised at Big Bowling Green because that's a very tough task for them. Nothing knocking Bowling Green, but that's just waking up like that, just playing a game that early.
And imagine waking up and realizing that you just clinched a playoff berth for your team and you have a chance to defend your state title, whether it's at home for the first round or on the road. And that's going to do it. Ezell-Harding had a tough task ahead of them. They were down by 10, and now they are on the road. They're going to have a chance to defend their state title in the playoffs.
And there he is, the guy that Spencer's going to go talk to on the field, defending his state championship, or has a chance to. Good closing by Ezell-Harding right there.
And, yep, that's going to do it. 86-66, the final score. Ezell-Harding gets the victory on the road. We'll be back in just a few moments for the post-game show. The Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week continues.
The coach is what is going to keep. I thought you were going to respond to my question there, Jack, but it's all good. What I was saying is that 20-point lead is what was the end of it, and you mentioned in pregame, Ezell-Harding's coaching is what kept him in this matchup, and that's what got them over the 10 points and then by 20. Well, I'm sure you've finalized with your thought there. We welcome Coach Dustin McGee, the victorious man. Congratulations on a much-needed win for you guys to defend your state title. When you guys were down by 10 and going back and forth on the offensive side, what is it you told your guys to try and make the comeback and to solidify the win?
I mean, we knew we could score. I mean, we only had to punt twice. You know, we have a dynamic offense with Jamari, so we always feel comfortable with our offense, especially on a big field. Just too much room to contain us, I guess. But you know, we just talked about loving the moment. And I think it's the biggest thing our kids are trying to grow in, is just that competitive fire in heavy moments and having fun with it. You know, enjoying that as a competitor. And
I'm sure Jamari Liddell will get a nomination from you as the Chick-fil-A Extreme Player of the Week going into next week. Either that or Braxton Coleman, one of those two. Because just what would you say about Jamari Liddell as just sets the team apart? What would you say his leadership role has been for this team, especially filling the gap left by Derek Griffin from last year?
No, Jamar. I know, buddy.
I didn't step on any. I didn't see any there, but
no, Jamari is one of the smartest kids I've ever met, and he combines that with a growing athleticism. He's really grown into his body in the last year and a half, and you know, we knew when Derek graduated last year, Jamari was that guy, and we trust him. He knows everything about our offense. He can call it for me if he wants to, and we just let him roll. I mean, he is very, very good at vision and making cuts and doing the right things.
You could definitely see that on the field tonight, and everything that he did. It just seemed that he did it correct. And of course, with Franklin Christian winning over Lancaster Christian tonight, that means your game against them at the end of the season at Ezell-Harding. That game is going to determine whether you're going to go on the road for the playoffs or host a playoff game in the first round. But you've got a game in between then next week hosting the Sacred Heart of Jesus High School Knights, who are still looking for their first win. Celebrate the victory tonight, but what are you telling your guys going against Jeremy Blankenship and company?
We're just trying to rattle off as many wins as possible. So we're going to respect everybody. I know they're struggling. We've had our struggles early in the season, and you never know in the game of football, so you have to be ready for everybody.
Yeah, it's always up in the air. But congratulations on the win, Coach. You guys have a chance to defend your state title, whether it's on the road or hosting a playoff game in the first round. Congratulations. Looking forward to seeing you in the playoffs.
Thanks, man.
Congratulations, Coach. Appreciate it. All right, Jack, any final thoughts before we sign off here from Fayetteville?
All I'm going to say is tune in to us Sunday at 4 o'clock and check out Extreme Radio, where me, Spencer, Zachary, and our good friend James Shannon, producer, will be live at 4 o'clock at Grace Point Healthcare.
Yeah, I could actually hear you a little bit because how quiet it's down here. As Jack said, tune into Extreme Radio Sunday at 4 p.m. For Jack Hellwig, Zachary Loon at home, as well as our producer James Shannon at home, I'm Spencer Thompson saying so long from Fayetteville, 86-66 the final score, and we will actually tomorrow for the game between the Bowling Green Warriors and the Sacred Heart of Jesus High School Knights, a game where both teams are looking for the first win in Bowling Green's first game on the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week. Our coverage starts at 1:45 in the afternoon. James and I will have the call. Again, I'm Spencer Thompson. So long from Fayetteville. Congratulations to Ezell-Harding.
Tune in 1:45 to see Bowling Green. See ya.